The Blast from Our Past Network.
Lock your doors, close your windows, turn out your lights, for chills and thrills await you. It's time for Podcasting After Dark with your hosts, Cory Stevenson and Zach Schaefer. Stay with a friend, say your prayers as grisly ghouls close in to seal your doom. Tonight's episode, Demon Wind, starring Eric Larson, Francine Lapensée, and Stephen Quadros.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcasting After Dark. I am one half of the PAD team proper, Cory, a.k.a. Sleazy C. Joined with me, as always, is my brother from another mother, Zach, the total snack it Schaefer. And, Zach, I gotta ask you, do your ears hang low? Do they wobble to
Do they wobble to and fro? Do they tie 'em in a knot? Can you tie 'em in a bow? Can you throw 'em over your shoulder like a continental soldier? Do your ears hang low? Faster! No, I'm kidding. I won't.
But if you guys are wondering why we're singing that, it's because the song in the movie reminds us of that. It's like an old folk song, or it's a religious song, or something like that. But anyways, guys and gals, you're probably like, what the hell are you all talking about? We're talking about Demon Wind, baby, 1990.
I think also probably they're thinking, if they're already starting at the gate like this, this must be a Patreon pick, courtesy of Crystal. Yes, and you would be right. And Crystal, guess what? You're going to find out whether or not I like this movie within the first 5 minutes of the breakdown.
Yes, you certainly will. And I'll start things off by saying that I have never seen Demon Wind before. I do absolutely remember that VHS cover. I believe it was one of those lenticular covers where it kind of was like sort of pseudo 3D and everything on it. Not like when it all like not beveled and embossed like what was it, Black Roses and Metamorphosis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where it kind of sticks out. But the lenticular where like if you rotate it, it kind of changes. I think it looks like it's breaking. The demon looks like it's breaking through the window. So I remember the VHS cover. Never watched it back in the day. It was one of those movies like where I would have it in my hand and my buddy and I would be talking like, oh, and then we would like, I don't know, land on like Night of the Living Dead remake or something like that. It was one of those things.
Not a bad choice.
Right. I mean, we do love Night of the Living Dead remake. So when Crystal suggested this to us, when I hit her up, I was like, hey, what do you want to review? And she was like, Demon Wind. And I was like, well, that's fucking perfect, because I literally just made a Vinegar Syndrome order like a month prior because there was a sale, and I bought a bunch of Blu-rays. Demon Wind was one of them, because I've been chomping at the bit to watch this movie because I've seen some of the clips on Instagram and stuff like that. And so I was like, well, that's perfect. I've been wanting to watch this movie for a long time now. And you know what? Boy, was it worth the wait. Woo!
Wow. I also think that Vinegar Syndrome at this point should be sponsoring our show, because we've filleted their company so darn much and rarely talk smack about them. I think we've talked smack about Shout Factory or Scream Factory, but never, ever Vinegar Syndrome or Kino for that matter. So if either of those companies want to just start sponsoring us and send us some freebies, that would be wonderful. And then we can use them as gifts for the fans. Yeah. So you fans, if you want to reach out to Vinegar Syndrome as well and say, you should sponsor Podcasting After Dark, go ahead and do that for us. And guess what, buddies? We'll give you something in return.
Go do that, pal.
You go do that, Pally-Wals. I have never seen Demon Wind in my entire life.
We have to make that. That joke had to come up at some point.
I know. I was so excited to just chomp. I was like, Demon Fart. I never saw it. I don't remember seeing it in the video store either.
Okay.
In fact, I never heard of it. I never seen a clip online. Nothing. I don't know if it was Leigh offline or if it was Aaron Gilmer, Manic Movie Monday podcast, who said, like, good luck, you're in for it or something like
you're
that.
In for a wild
it might
ride.
have been. It was one of the two. So if it was Leigh, Crystal, you can be mad at Leigh, and if it was Aaron, go listen to her podcast because it's a great show as well. But whoever it was, I don't care. It doesn't matter, and I love them both. But Crystal picked it, and I was like, okay. Track record here with Crystal. Crystal's first one was that shopping
Intruder, which I enjoyed.
Intruder, you enjoyed it. I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
I was okay.
Yeah.
I definitely had some critiques about it. And then the next one of hers, was it the Christmas?
Well, she gave us Christmas Bloody Christmas. She also gave us Deathstalker. I think Deathstalker is probably the most unanimously loved of her picks. I think you and I both loved that one.
Yeah, we loved that one. And then Christmas Bloody Christmas, I loved aspects of it, but I really disliked the dialogue. You can go back to listen to that. So if we're going off those, mid and then loved and then mid. So this would be a love. And guess what? Spoiler alert. I actually love this movie.
Oh my God.
I had a great time.
I kind of had a feeling you might not, but at the same time, there was a little part of me that was like, maybe, just maybe it'll hit him right at the right spot, you know?
Oh, I was in a really good mood, and I'm also coming off of being in Japan with major jet lag, so I was loopy the past couple of days watching this movie. Thank God I didn't have to break it down, and thank you, Cory, for breaking it down, because I don't think I could have sustained it mentally. But I'm watching this, and I'm like, whoa, this is wild.
Bonkers.
This is like elements of demons, elements of Evil Dead, elements of The Convent, which came out afterwards. Like all of these movies combined, and elements of Scooby-Doo, elements of Supernatural, the television series. One actor in particular, I'm like, that's the dude from Supernatural. It's not. Anyways, all those things that I'm a big fan of. And, you know, I've only watched Supernatural at the gym. It's been on like reruns, and I go, this looks like a pretty entertaining show that I would never watch. So
well, I'm glad that you like this better than Supernatural. Yeah, dude.
Supernatural.
Yeah, dude. Guys and gals, this movie is perfect for grabbing some beers, smoking a joint, pop this on with your pals, and just have a hoot of a time. It's one of those movies that's just fun from beginning to end. It's silly, you know. There's a lot of stuff we're gonna call out, but you know, we're not. How did this get made? We're not Mystery Science Theater 3000. We don't like just constantly shit on movies, but we're gonna have some fun with this one, of course. But I don't like. This is not a kind of movie where I wasn't like bored or like. Hey, I mean, it's a smooth like hour and like 36 minutes. It moves quickly. The concept is pretty interesting, I think, and you know, like Zach said, it's got a lot of shades of other movies that we enjoy, and a lot of times you see people pick pieces from movies that we like and don't quite know what to do with them. I feel like this movie knew exactly what to do with the budget that it had and the story it was trying to tell. And I think it did its job, if not exceeded it, because also too, the budget for this thing was like, I think less than $1 million. I think it was around 500,000.
That tracks. What doesn't track is how within that budget they were able to get so many people in this movie, because one thing after another, I'm like, oh, another guy's showing up. Oh, another. Wait, more people are showing up. What the hell is going on here?
Yeah. And somehow, Zach, they were able to get Chuckles from the G.I. Joe cartoon to be in this.
Yeah, well, Chuckles went on to do a shit ton of softcore porn. So
I mean, Dell is a beefcake.
Yeah, well, I think Dell knows that, the actor, and went on. Well, we'll wait till we get to his IMDb, because we've got quite a rundown when it comes to his movie. I'm sure Aaron will be very excited to hear and very familiar with many of the movies he's been in.
Exactly. Now, Zach, I will say, you know, obviously this movie's not perfect, but I had a great time with it. The zombie stuff is cool, but I thought this was firing on all cylinders when it was doing the weird stuff that I didn't see coming, like the skull, the cow skull head, you know, shooting the tongue out.
My favorite scene.
Me too. That was my favorite kill in the entire movie. Even Bonnie kind of getting turned into a doll kind of reminded me of dolls a little bit. And so while I enjoyed the zombie stuff, I wish they'd kind of mixed in a little bit more of the weirdness, but again, I do believe it probably has a lot to do with the budget too.
Probably. I will say there was quite a revelation that happened to me in this movie that I did not know we were derived from doves.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That is our final baby form is Elva Dove. And by the way, that's my other second favorite, like, sort of kill in the movie is that one. And because it's so weird and I didn't see it like coming at all.
No, and I didn't know that. I always pondered what Egon looked like as a teenager, and now I know.
Bro, Jack looks exactly like young, real Ghostbusters.
Real
Egon.
Ghostbusters.
Yep.
Because of the rat tail.
Because of the rat tail. But dude, we have a lot to talk about in the breakdown and everything, and in the cast and crew. So why don't we jump into that? Where do you want to start?
Well, we can talk about the writer and director Charles Philip Moore, known for this film, An Angel of Destruction from 1995. I believe he just wrote the screenplay, but it stars Maria Ford. And if you go to Maria Ford, Charlie Spaulding too, by the way. If you want to have some fun online, go to Charlie Spaulding's Facebook page, and you can see where her mind is at. Starts with an M, ends with an A, 4 letters, and she's on Cuckoo Train.
Oh boy! Boy!
Maria Ford, if you go to her IMDb, public figure, and it's a white image. But y'all know who Maria Ford is. And he did a movie called New Crime City with Rick Rossovich, and I saw that movie way back when. I remember it being a pretty decent movie. I think he wrote the screenplay for that too. So he's mostly a screenwriter. As a director, I think he's a fine director. I think this movie is a fine film. He directed Black Belt with Don the Dragon Wilson, which is actually one of Don the Dragon Wilson's better movies.
Oh, cool.
And Matthias Hughes is in that from My Come in Peace. So if you've never seen Black Belt, go check that one out. It's a decent kung fu flick.
Okay.
Anyways, he's, B-level director, but he does all the movies that you would rent from the video store.
Yeah, of course. No, it's perfect. And yeah, he does a great job with this movie, again, with a freaking micro budget.
This movie, I think this is coming off the heels of me watching and then rewatching Going Viral, a movie that I talked about on $2 Late Fee that came out last year. Corey Feldman's got a small role in it, but it's an independent film. And I look at this movie the same way I looked at that. I'm like, you guys made a thing, like they say in Boogie Nights,
A real thing.
You made a thing, you got it made. So good job, buddy. Be proud. And it's like you said, it's not perfect, but it's damn entertaining, and that's all that we want, Mm-hmm. So should we get into the cast?
Yes, but playing my namesake, playing Cory is Eric Larson.
Yeah, I never saw this dude before. I'd say he's like a poor man's Bruce Abbott / Jeffrey Combs. I think if Bruce Abbott and Jeffrey Combs had a baby from Reanimator, they would have this guy, because to me he looks like a combination, very much so like Jeffrey Combs from The Beyond at the end of the movie with his mask on his head.
Yeah. Yes.
But he's constantly working.
Yeah, and he was in The Uninvited. He was in an episode of Hunter, but he was also in an episode of a show that we're probably going to have to cover on TV Obscura one of these days, Beverly Hills Bunts, which I think you or Diallo mentioned before, the one with Dennis Franz.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking that Diallo mentioned that.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beverly Hills Bunts with Dennis Franz and Peter Jurassic.
What a terrible name for a TV show.
That's why it didn't last.
Yeah, I mean, Dennis Franz. Hey, you guys, look it. I'm from Chicago, and my name's Bunts, because, the guys from Chicago have a name like Bunts. So I think we call this show Beverly Hills Bunts, because I moved there, and, wait, what, you got a problem with that? Well, then you're fucking fired, because I'm the producer of the show. No,
I'm going to go show my butt on NYPD Blue.
Yeah, come on. No, I'm so not into that. But Dana Wheeler's in it, and we love her from Fletch. So
yes, of course.
Yeah, so Cory, your namesake, even though he spells it wrong.
Yes, he does. No E.
Yep. So normally we would just pass on a lot of the people that don't have IMDb pictures. There are just a couple that I do want to point out. And if you want to go over some that I glaze over, then fine. But I'll go over to the next IMDb one with an actual photo, and that's Stephen Quadros plays Chuck. And this is
Yeah.
the dude that I thought looked like the long-haired guy, Jared Padalecki on Supernatural or whatever, you know?
Yeah, no. He's actually in that movie Shock 'em Dead. He's the bad guy in that one. That's another sort of like cult movie, straight to video sort of cult movie thing. You know, I think Tracy Lords is in it. Yeah, she's in that one. But yeah, Shock 'em Dead. That's another like VHS cover that like I remember it's burned into my brain, but I never actually saw the movie.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. I mean, he's in that. If you want to see Cynthia Rothrock in a love scene with Kurt McKinney from No Retreat, No Surrender, he's in Sworn to Justice, which was a pretty
nice.
decent one. I know Vinegar Syndrome put that one out. Bunch of fun. Blood Fist with Don the Dragon Wilson. Look at all these connections. Murder, She Wrote. So, of course, Dustin would be happy about that.
Well, dude, he was in an episode of Tour of Duty. That's the Vietnam show that you and I used to watch back in '89.
Yes. And Martial Law. He was in Martial Law. So that's one of my favorite Rothrock films.
Yeah, my understanding is that he has a stunt background, probably, some martial arts, stunt work and stuff like that. So we do see his martial arts moves in this movie.
Oh, he knows karate. Yeah, he definitely knows karate.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I do want to call out, though, Elaine. It's so funny because the main character's name's Cory, and then the main female lead is Elaine.
I thought of that, too.
I think of Seinfeld, but Francine Lapensée, she's been in a lot of stuff, but it's like a lot of like straight to video stuff as well. Honestly, nothing that I've really seen, unfortunately, but she does have a solid like 22 credits under her belt. But the last one was in 2002, so I don't think she's really working much to today.
Well, she's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody I think does a fine job, even if they're not acting well. I think they're still entertaining. Yeah,
and I'm kind of going through Stacy's IMDb, who is played by Jack Forcento, and it's the same thing. He doesn't have an IMDb photo, and I'm looking through like all of his movies, and again, it's kind of almost the same stuff as Francine Lapensée. It's not a lot of anything I recognize. It's a lot of straight to video stuff.
Well, is it the same on your screen as it is on mine? His IMDb photo is a white one and not a black one.
Yeah,
so that's like an intentional. I think that's probably he put that on there himself, or someone whoever takes care of his page. That's interesting. His outline is slightly larger than the typical IMDb picture, so yeah. I have no idea. But Sherry Leigh has an IMDb picture. She's been in quite a few things, including Slaughterhouse, which I never saw, but I wanted to. Last thing she did was Jane the Virgin as a stunt double. It looks like she's doing stunt work.
She was on Westworld. She did some stunts on Westworld. So
yeah, mostly stunt really stuff.
New.
Which is great. Look, a job is a job at this point, especially in this business.
Yeah.
I want to move on over to Richard Gabay, who plays Willie, because I'm like, I know that guy. Where the hell do I know that guy from? He plays a little weasel in a lot of things. He has played a weasel in a lot of things. Obviously, a lot of like straight to video stuff. Virtual Girl Part 2, Virtual Vegas, Raptor, Tomorrow by Midnight, Mach 2 with Brian Bosworth, Final Voyage with Ice Cube, Virtual Girl 1. So I believe he might have had an interesting scene in that. If you know,
he was also in Dinosaur Island, but he was also in that movie After Midnight. Do you remember that one from 1989?
I do. I mean, I remember watching that on Cinemax, I think. And he's been in movies with Don the Dragon Wilson. Like, there's like a reoccurring theme here. It's either Cynthia Rothrock or Don the Dragon Wilson.
Yeah, what's up with that?
What's going on? And one of his co-stars of this movie shares another linkage with After Midnight type of movies. Bobby Johnston, who plays Dell. Bobby Johnston does not have an IMDb photo. It's a damn shame because the guy is a hunk and a whole lot more.
My God, he's a tall drink of water.
Yes, and I think casting directors saw that and agreed because he was in movies like Talk Sex, Sexual Intentions, Scandal, ... sex@students.edu, Sensual Friends, Sex Files, ... Pleasureville, Surrender, Passion Cove, Love Blind, Stripper Wives, Erotic Confessions, ... Volume 11, episode Gone Skiing. He played Ben. I Like to Play Games, T-O-O. Oh, the Jesse Ventura story, Total Recall 2070, and Erotic Confessions, When Husbands Cheat, Deadlock, ... A Passion for Murder.
Okay.
Sorry, you get the point.
Can we get the point?
Sinful Intrigue, Femalien, Romancing Sarah, Siren Skin. So much Skinamax. He's the Pamela. Sorry, I'll stop.
But what's great is, in between all of those, is randomly inserted RoboCop Prime Directives, the RoboCop TV show that was filmed up in Canada.
The guy is a good actor.
Yeah.
You know, Aaron Gilmer would agree, like, these straight to video, softcore shows and movies that these people are in, it doesn't mean they're bad actors. They're just willing to do things that maybe other people wouldn't. And he's done a whole lot.
Yes, he has. And again, he's a beefcake with a blonde head of hair. He looks literally like a comic book come to life. Like, he's so symmetrical and chiseled. It's quite remarkable to watch. But the first thought I had was, he is a spinning image of Chuckles from G.I. Joe.
Yes, probably.
And he's about as smart as Chuckles.
Oh, wow. I was gonna...
his character, not the actor, but Dell, the character.
Yes, his character.
Yes.
This is true. Why don't we talk about the special effects?
Yes. So real quick, guys and gals, go follow Jeff Farley on Instagram. He just hit us up right before recording. He worked on this movie. He did the special effects on it, and he's done this special effects on a lot of other films, and I'm already talking to him about interviewing him, so hopefully we can get him in here at the end of May, maybe in June. But before we do, make sure you go follow Jeff Farley on Instagram. And you can, you know what? Go to our announcement, photo for this, saying that, we're recording this tonight. He left a comment in there. You can go easily find him that way, but go give him a follow. He's a really nice guy, and he's, I'm like, dude, this movie rocks. Thanks for making such a fun movie,
Yeah, totally. And I want to shout out the composer, simply for, well, you'll know why in a minute. His name's Bruce Wallenstein. I actually thought it was a pretty decent score. It reminded me of a little bit of like John Carpenter at times, a little bit. Very synthy. He scored another movie called Twisted Nightmare, which came out in 1987, and which actually looks pretty decent. I kind of want to see it. I've never seen it. And then he also was in the band Kick the Band in the movie Body Slam. It was the with Dirk Benedict and Roddy Piper. It was the last movie that Hal Needham directed.
I'll take anything with Dirk Benedict in it.
Yeah, and it's got a bunch of great wrestlers in it that were in, I believe, WWF, but mostly like NWA. So you got Ric Flair in there, and I think Freddie Blassie might be in that. Anyways, it's Hal Needham, too, for crying out loud. The guy who did Smokey and the Bandit and Rad and Megaforce and, of course, Hooper.
Oh man!
And Cannonball Run too. Also, Cannonball.
Run. I don't like Cannonball Run 2 as much as I liked Cannonball Run.
He did both.
1.
He did them all.
Okay.
Did them all.
Gotcha.
Smokey.
I also don't like. I didn't like Smokey, like the other Smokey and the Bandits. I just like the first one.
Yeah, just the first one.
Yeah, for that, both that and Cannonball Run.
The first time. No, sorry.
We made love. Go listen to our My Tutor review to know what that's from. But Zach, we're feeling very lyrical tonight. I think you're hopped up on jet lag. I'm hopped up on beer and caffeine. And boy, oh boy, am I ready to talk about some demon wind. I might have some demon wind inside of me right now.
I think I just passed a few demon winds.
60 years ago, an entire family vanished without a trace. Now one young man must face the demon wind.
How do we get to the Carter place from here?
You can't?
I think something bizarre has been going on at that farm for a long time. I want to find out what.
It's a gateway to hell, and there's no turning back.
Nu protesta Santana vivet.
What did it say? It said, now Satan shall walk.
Please, boy, don't go up there.
I have to.
You can't leave. You're mine.
It's an altar to the devil.
No, it really is beautiful.
something here, something evil. No! 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 Please help me! What? Oh, God, help me! No!
I will be done.
The power of your God is nothing, little man. Die, child of a man.
Wind.
And now, my pig, you die.
Now you see it. Now you don't. Now you're dead. Demon Wind.
Snakes on the China. No, sorry, wrong song.
I hate you. The movie opens with the red Demon Wind title card on a black background. The font is bold and takes up almost the whole screen. I fucking love it. This is a title card right here, guys and gals.
Already it's 10 times better than Split Second.
Yeah, dude. Always our comparison. Split Second is always our title card comparison because, guys and gals, it was like, it was so small and it was also like off-centered for some reason.
Did you choose that movie?
Of course I did. I fucking love that movie. So fuck you.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yes, Split Second is absolutely a Cory movie and it is absolutely not a Zak movie.
Harley!
Yeah. The movie opens in 1939. We see a cross burning with a body strapped to it. The camera pans down and we see a young male in farm clothes laying dead in the grass. His face is pretty mangled. The camera pans up and we see a boarded up house. Inside the rustic home, we see black and white pictures of the family in between pictures of Jesus and Mary as Are You Washed in the Blood of the Lamb song plays. Not gonna lie, it's kind of catchy.
Yeah, it's Do Your Ears Hang Low.
So is it though?
No, it's
okay,
not. I don't think it
is.
is.
A very similar.
Yeah.
It kind of has that vibe to it, but I do think this is like a real song though. Like it is a real religious song, I believe.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I am not religious, so
No. Oh, God,
no, never.
Hail Satan. We also see a dinner table set with food still on it. The camera keeps panning across the homestead, and we see 2 half pentagrams drawn on the floor with chalk. They both have a candle lit inside of them. Finally, we see a small snow globe with a house inside of it. Kind of wish, well, all right, I'll keep going, then I'll talk about what I sort of wish we knew. Just then, a wind picks up, and the candles go out. As the camera dollies in on a boarded up front door with a cross nailed to it, a woman pops up into view and we see 3 bloody claw marks across her back. She looks around frantically as multiple voices from outside the house say, "Regina, your spells can't keep us out." The unseen forces start pounding on the door and Regina calls out for her husband George to help her. Just then, she is forced back from the door by an unseen force and she stumbles into her husband. She puts her arms around him and she asks if he brought the daggers and the diary. George responds by vomiting in her hair.
I've had that same response with people I've dated in the past.
Regina backs away from her husband in terror as he painfully transforms into a demon. She grabs the snow globe and reminds George that if the crystal breaks, it's the end of both of them. The demon lunges at Regina as she screams. We see blood splash across the snow globe as it falls to the ground and shatters. As it does, the whole farmhouse explodes. What a cold open, baby.
It's wonderful. I initially was like, is this, because I went into this movie completely cold. I didn't watch a trailer. I didn't watch anything. I just looked at the art and crossed my fingers because with Crystal, it's a 50-50.
And for the record, for Cory, it's 100% all the time, Crystal.
Yeah, no, look, and Crystal, even the ones I'm not a huge fan of, I still thoroughly enjoyed. And I will thoroughly enjoy any movie that someone will pay us to break down. And that is the case with this one. If you want us to do the same for you and talk a little shit along the way, sign up at patreon.com/podcastingafterdark. We will break down your movie, give you full credit, and we'll kind of dump and talk some shit and dump on you. No, so my initial reaction to this opening was like shades of Cemetery Man and
yes,
and the movie within the movie of demons.
Yes,
just the way. I'm like, is this an Italian film? Like, is this?
It has that vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, this is an Italian movie, and I'm totally cool with that. It's spoiler, it's not, but it like totally vibes that way.
It does. I didn't think about that until like literally the words came out of your mouth, and I'm like, yeah, actually, it does have a strong Italian horror vibe, like an 80s Italian horror movie. I do wish that we knew what the point of the snow globe was, like what that was. But at the same time, I liked the whole like half pentagrams drawn into the ground and stuff like that. I do like in this movie when they actually do rely a little bit more on the wind, because I like that shit, and we like that shit in the movie The Wind with Wings Hauser. You know,
rest in peace. Yep.
Yeah, rest in peace. That shit is awesome. So right away though, I was interested. I was hooked in the very first scene.
Yeah, me too. Even though I was like, I don't even know what the hell's really going on, but I don't care.
What the hell's happening right now?
I got jet lag.
Cut to present day, and we see a truck driving down a dirt road. So, by the way, Zach, this was filmed in Thousand Oaks?
Yes. Yes.
And it's funny because at first I was like, oh, it looks almost European, like almost European countryside. But then I found out it was Thousand Oaks. I was like, I guess I've never seen that part of Thousand Oaks, but it's interesting because it's like almost like rolling fields and hills, and then some trees dotted here and there. But I'm just like, wow, I've seen a lot of stuff filmed in and around LA, and it looks very unique, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's parts of Thousand Oaks that were pretty barren, and we're talking late 80s, early 90s when they shot this. Well, this came out in 1990, so they probably shot it in the 88 or 89.
Yeah.
I know exactly where, they give you the entire address of one of the houses. If you want to go visit, it's at 16834 Saticoy Street in Van Nuys, California. Saticoy, Staticoy. So go ahead and, fuck with the people that live there. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I'm like, I picked up on that too. I'm like, where the hell did they shoot this? And I looked up the location and like, okay, sure. Yeah. By the way, white Jeep, right?
Yeah.
I had that exact model in like 1992 or 3. It was a piece of crap. It's a Jeep Cherokee.
Oh, like was that like your first car?
It was one of my first cars.
Oh, okay.
And I remember when I went to the dealership, I had, brought money to buy the car.
Cash, and did you have some coins in there that you handed them to?
I did. I had some yen. And he's like, what the hell is this necklace? I'm like, no, it's a Japanese coin, but it's got a hole in it. I remember like being so adamant that I was going to buy a car. And my mom's like, no, you're supposed to go to a dealership and like talk to them first and like haggle with them. And I'm like, I will. Don't worry, I will. And I bought this car without even like
no haggling.
I literally, the guy, the dealer gets in the car with me. He's like, he's showing me, he's like, okay, so it's got 4-wheel drive. It's got this shifter here. It's got this button. It goes like this. And he flips the button up and down. I'm like, what does that do? He's like, well, it does this. And he flips it up and down. He didn't tell me what it did. Just flipped it up and down. And I'm like, sold, done.
Sold.
And then it broke down within a week.
Oh my God. My dad was a used car salesman. He would have taken you for a goddamn ride.
I was an idiot. I don't know how to do my taxes, so there you go.
If it makes you feel any better, buddy, I am not a haggler as well. My wife is the one that.
So is Kristen. So
yep.
Thank God for strong women.
Exactly. And to help us out.
And weak men.
Yeah, which is us. Cory is driving and his girlfriend Elaine is riding shotgun. She asks him to talk to her, What is he thinking about? Cory says he's just thinking about driving. I'm like, can you blame him? I mean, dude, it's not a paved road and it's barely a dirt road and he's doing like 40 down it. Yeah, don't talk to me, bitch. I'm trying to drive.
Yeah, and clearly I know in character wise he's probably he's preoccupied with the driving. Also the intention of why he's going where he's going.
Yeah, but he's lost in thought.
But he comes across as such an asshole, and like the way he kind of just delivers his lines to her, he's such a dick. It's not intentional, and he looks like he didn't get any sleep, so he's got like real dark circles under his eyes that the makeup tries to cover up. But I'm like, they're there.
You didn't. We know you didn't sleep at all.
Nope.
So they are driving to Cory's grandparents' old farmhouse. He doesn't know where it is exactly, but he's sure it's close. Elaine asks him what his father was like, and we get a flashback of Cory opening the door to his father's house and finding an altar to Mary covered in candles, and his father looking quite mad. Back in the car, and by quite mad, I mean the makeup definitely, they gave him like chapped lips, like very, very chapped lips.
Yes, it's how I look every day.
When you're quite mad.
Yes.
Back in the car, Cory says his dad was just an old drunk. Elaine says she wishes Cory never found his father the other night, because in the past 48 hours, Cory's completely cut her out of his life. She just wants to know why. As Cory and Elaine... just talk to me.
I had a girlfriend once that was so annoying. She's so, and she's like, why would you talk to me? I said, because you're annoying.
Because I hate you.
Yeah, I mean, I was a teenager, guys.
I know.
Go back to an early $2 late fee episode and you'll find out who exactly I'm talking about.
Oh, boy.
Because I name dropped her and I'm like, should I have name dropped her? No.
She doesn't listen.
No, of course not.
As Cory and Elaine drive down the dirt road, we see a young girl watching them. She holds out a stick and aims it at them as the truck drives by. She then looks down and pokes a cow skull with the stick. What'd you say, buddy?
I said he should have hit her.
Yeah, he should have ran her over. Yeah, because she's going to be a demon later.
Yeah.
And this is the kind of shit that I think is really cool. There's no explanation to her. It's just she's a ginger. That's the only explanation you need. So of course she's a demon because she's a ginger.
she's a spawn of Satan.
Exactly.
She's got red hair.
And I say that, guys and gals, my mother is a ginger, so I know what demons are.
Yeah, and I just don't like gingers, so I'm kidding. Again, I'm kidding. Don't hit a kid, by the way.
Back in the truck, Cory tells Elaine that ever since he saw his dad, there's been a voice in his head, like a loudspeaker, telling him to get to that farm. As they crest over a hill, Cory stops the truck. They both look out over the hood of the truck and see a small cafe/gas station with an old man out front. There are no other buildings around. It's almost like a mirage in a desert.
Yeah. And again, knowing that where they shot this, I'm like, what? They found this is an awesome location.
Well, my question is, they obviously built the rubble of the house that they go to. Is there any chance that they built this? Because,
maybe.
Why would you put a gas station out in the middle of nowhere?
I mean, but we have seen those in Southern California.
Okay, yeah. So I'd definitely be interested in knowing. So maybe when we interview Jeff, he might know that. So
we'll get him on. And he's like, I really didn't work on the movie.
He's like, I just did the zombie, guys. I don't have any clue about the location scouting or anything like that. Cory says he's been there before in a dream. Cut to that dream, and we see Cory standing naked in front of the gas station.
That was amazing.
I know. I was not expecting to see naked Cory ass. He's holding a book, and when he looks up, he sees the woman from the opening scene, which we're going to find out that that's his grandmother. She's covered in blood, and her neck is slashed open. The lady says, "Welcome home, Cory," as blood drips out of her mouth. Cory screams, and I love how the camera dollies in or dollies back, one or the other, while he's screaming.
Yeah, it's great. And he's a good actor, but he's just like a hair shy of being a really good actor, So it's like kind of it's very hilarious too at the same time when it's probably not supposed to be.
Yeah, no, this is the shit that you watch the movie for. That is just, it's gold. You can't plan for this kind of stuff. It just happens. And movies like Demon Wind are special because they come together and they give us gold, like Cory screaming naked.
Yeah. So thank you, Crystal.
Again, thank you. Back in the present, Cory drives up to the gas station and asks how they get to the Carter place from here. The old man says you can't. There's no such place. And unless they want some gas, he suggests they move on. I'll start calling him by name in a little bit when I sort of land on it, but his name's Harcourt. Elaine wants Cory to... And by the way, the old man, I think, is a really good actor.
Oh, I agree.
And it's funny because he's not even billed as Harcourt. I don't even know where he is in the Terry, Willie, Rhiann, Harriet, Regina, George. That's the thing. Grand Demon. Okay, here we go. CDJ Coco? Okay,
sure.
no, I think that's just the guy that played the actual demon. See, that's the thing. I don't even know who plays this guy. I mean, I'm already right into like, Infant Jack and Mature Bonnie and stuff like that and Woman Thing, and it's like in the IMDb credits. So I'm like, is he uncredited? Like, where the fuck is he?
There's a dude named Johnny Mask.
I know he has an IMDb credit, but I don't think that's him.
And there's another really well-known actor who has an IMDb credit, but we'll get to him later.
Yes. Oh my God. Well, we get to the zombies later. Yes, we will call out the most well-known actor in this entire movie.
Yeah.
So Harcourt, I don't know who plays him. We can't, literally, Zach and I cannot find him on IMDb because I don't know. I mean, I would assume that's what his billing name would be. But yeah, I have no idea who he is, but he's really good. I really like the old guy.
I agree. I think he's great.
So guys and gals, if anyone out there knows who plays him, please let us know.
He's got some... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I mean, I'm not going to go and add it back into the episode, but it'll be nice for me personally to know.
To me, he's got like slight shades of L.Q. Jones. He was in Lone Wolf McQuade. He's like this older guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's who he reminds me of, like a clean-shaven version of that guy, L.Q. Jones.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, a little bit. Look, if anybody knows his name, let us know in the social media ways.
Yes, please do. Elaine wants Cory to take the old man's advice and go home, but Cory's on a mission from God. So they both walk into the cafe to see if someone else can help them. Unfortunately, the cafe is empty and everything looks old and covered in dust. As Cory marvels at the 1950s prices of the burgers and fries, because we're talking like 50 cents for a burger, type of thing.
Right.
Elaine pulls down her jeans and flashes Cory her panties and butt. Thank you, Crystal.
Yeah, I was like, okay, sure, just bare ass.
Bare ass right there.
Do your thing. That's the only nudity. Like outside of that, that's the rest of the nudity in this whole movie, which I actually appreciate.
Yeah, because there's the demon lady, but you only see that once, Tiffany Million or whatever.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very quick though.
I kind of wanted to unsee that, to be honest with you.
She kind of looks like your mom.
Oh, hey, yo.
Hey, yo. Oh, hey, yo. Oh. Oh God. Oh, okay. So, but this is kind of weird though, because he walks over to Elaine, Cory does, and he coldly kind of says, "A moon for the misbegotten," and it's like I kind of like was like, is he under a spell or something? But it kind of doesn't last long, because just then a lady walks out of the back kitchen, looks at Elaine, and says, "The bathroom is out back." Elaine pulls up her pants, and Cory asks for something to drink. They both order a Coke, and Cory asks if she knows where the Carter farm is. The old man opens the front door and stares at the waitress. She looks scared and says she never heard of it. But yeah, did you pick up on anything? Like, why was Cory was acting like he was like in a trance a little bit when he was talking to Elaine in there?
Yeah, but I think I don't know why.
It was just stiff acting.
Yes, that's what I think.
Yeah, probably. I mean, again, guys and gals, this is kind of like, it's in the B movie category. It's in, the straight to video category, but it, in all the best ways. I say both of those things with nothing but love in my heart for movies like this.
Totally agree.
The old man closes the door as they hear a Jeep pull up to the gas station. Elaine and Cory get up to leave just as Dell and his girlfriend Terry walk into the cafe. Dell, here's right. Dell looks like the living embodiment of Chuckles from G.I. Joe. Dell kisses Elaine on the lips and she pushes him away. He says, "Don't you look good enough to eat?" He then gives Cory a very painful looking high five. And Cory's a little bit of a cuck in this situation, I think, you know?
Yeah, but who's he supposed to be friends with?
I know. It's like, you kind of get the vibe that like his girlfriend Terry is who they're probably friends with. And he's just the asshole boyfriend, but he seems to be friends with all of them.
You remember in Witchboard when like Tawny Kitane's ex-boyfriend is at her party?
Yeah.
And the boyfriend's there? I would never do that. I never, ever had a girlfriend who was like, "You mind if my ex-boyfriend comes along? We're just friends now."
No. And no, I'm someone who burns all the bridges with my exes. So I don't understand that. I don't get that, you know?
When my stepdad, Mike, died, all my ex-girlfriends showed up to the like, what do you call it? After
the
funeral. We had a gathering at our house. All my ex-girlfriends were in the same room at the same time. Four of them.
I mean,
that's
terrible for you, but it is a testimony to, you know, how awesome Mike was.
Totally. Absolutely. And at one point, my buddy, I think Terry was with me, and he's like, "Is this hard for you right now, bro?" Like, more so that because they're all in the same room together. I go, "Yeah, it's awkward." Like, what are they talking about?
Yeah.
What are they?
They're talking about you, Brady. They're talking about you. Yeah. You know that now. You're like, yeah, you know, 100% they were talking about you.
And all of them were like, you know, "If you need anything, give me a call." I'm like,
you're like,
no, there's a reason why I broke up with you.
Yeah. Oh God.
So I wouldn't invite Dell, is what I'm saying.
Right. No, I get it. I totally get it. But I would invite Dell because at this point, like right when Dell walks through the door, I perk up. I'm like, "Oh, who's this guy?"
He's one of the highlights of this movie for sure.
Movie.
Yeah. If it was just about Cory, little Cory Gory, this movie would be not good.
No. This needs the ensemble cast, and it works for the ensemble cast.
Yes.
Cory asks how the drive was, and Dell sarcastically says, "It sucked. But you know how women are. We passed the last mall. Terry panicked and we had to stop. Terry says she needed outdoor clothes. Dell looks at her and says, and you do look good enough to eat." And they passionately kiss right in front of Cory and you know, Elaine. And then Dell says his catchphrase. He like straight up he makes out with his girlfriend, tongue and all, then with saliva still connecting his mouth to Terry's mouth, he just looks Cory dead in the eyes and says, "And that's why I keep her around." I'm like, is this supposed to be a compliment? Like,
yes.
What is that?
Yeah, because he goes on to, you want me to list all the Skinamax movies he was in again?
Yeah, I know, exactly.
I can go in alphabetical order this time.
Oh, God. Oh, Dell.
Crystal's going, "This is exactly my plan all along."
She's doing the Mr. Burns, "Excellent." Just then, Bonnie and Jack walk into the cafe and are greeted by Elaine and Cory. Jack says that Cory's message sounded urgent, so they're here. Cory thanks Jack and hugs him. Dell interrupts the moment by saying, "If you two homos can keep your hands off each other for a second, let's get something to drink."
Oh, Terry it only took 5 minutes of the movie before we got our first homo joke.
Yeah, the times. We've talked about this so much, and, you know, I mean, even in fucking Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, you know, it's, again, of the era, but it was literally an entire decade, and if you grew up as a boy in that decade, like you and I did, we learned that we cannot have feelings, we cannot tell our friends that we love each other at all, we cannot show any physical, like, affection towards our male friends at all, but you know what? After every single goddamn recording that Zach and I do, after every single goddamn time we have, like, we talk on the phone or whatever, we fucking both tell each other that we love each other when we get off the phone because you know why? Because it fucking matters.
Cory does. I don't.
Fuck you.
No, I'm kidding.
You love me. I know you love me.
I totally agree. And you know, the 80s and 90s were a time when you could not admit that you liked Michael Bolton.
Right.
But I can now say I love the man Michael Bolton.
Right. And I couldn't back then say that I have a man crush on Dell, but I can say it now. I have a man crush on Dell, a.k.a. Chuckles.
You could, but you'd be called
You
something.
shouldn't. So Terry wants to know why they're all gathered out here in the sticks.
Yeah, we're introduced to Jack, and Jack is the Egon looking dude.
Yes.
He looks like he's wearing glasses. He's got darker hair, but he's got this wicked rat tail. And I'm just like, whoa, it's like an embodiment of a young Egon from Real Ghostbusters.
Yeah. So if Dell looks like the embodiment of Chuckles, the cartoon character, Jack looks like the embodiment of Egon. If his hair was blonde, he would be a splitting image of Egon from the Real Ghostbusters, specifically the cartoon. He also looks very much like, I feel like Rob Liefeld would draw characters that looked like him. Like, this movie is, again, watch it for the fun, but watch it also for the outfits, because this is very much a late 80s movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Corey's the most drab, but I think that's intentional.
Yeah, because, like, they all got, like, a thing going on. Like, Dell's kind of like the hunky beefcake, and he's wearing, like, sweats, and then Jack is that dude, it was a thing back in the 80s when you were, like, sort of the good-looking nerd, Like, you had to have your glasses, like, the round glasses and everything, but, like, Jack's still good-looking, but you can tell he's the nerd, and there was, like, this, like, nerd chic type of thing back then.
Yeah, like Tony O'Dell in Chopping Mall.
Hey, dude, perfect analogy right there.
Well,
yep,
of course.
Exactly. And by the way, go back and listen to our interview with Tony O'Dell. You might be like, oh, who's that? He was the guy with the glasses, one of the three leads in Chopping Mall. He's a very accomplished acting coach now, and so much so that Zendaya was one of his pupils for like 13 years or something.
And he's Cobra Kai.
Yeah, he's in Cobra Kai as well.
Well, Karate Kid.
That's right. He was in Karate Kid. Never made it into Cobra Kai. They never brought him into Cobra Kai.
Well, he was in one. He was in the episode where the one Cobra Kai's dying. Was it season
that's
1?
Right. Okay.
And he also was in Head of the Class.
Well, that's right. I used to watch that show. That's all I got.
I love how Corey's like, I used to watch that show. Silence.
Crickets. All right. Cut to the three couples sitting at the counter, and Dell pops open a beer. When everyone refuses to drink a beer, Dell says, "What is it? Just say no week?" Terry says, "Not for me, it isn't." And Dell says, "That's why he keeps her around." And then they deeply kiss again.
It's really funny.
It is. As Bonnie takes a swig of her Coke, Elaine says, "His thing's about this big," and makes like a small hand gesture, causing Bonnie to do a spit take. Dell asks, "What's so funny?" Elaine says, "It's just a little thing, not worth mentioning."
Nah.
That was funny, but it's
Yeah.
kind of weird because there is not any more of this kind of dialogue in the movie.
No, it's a nice setup, and it reminds me a little bit of like April Fool's Day with the ensemble in April Fool's Day.
I fucking love that movie. I went through that's a movie where I know I need to see it again, and I know, you guys cover it and everything, but that's a movie that I watched one summer like 10 times when I was like, 10 years old or 11 years old or something like that. I watched it a ton. I loved it, but then I haven't seen it like in 35 years.
Maybe we'll cover it on Pad, and we'll get, Ken Olin on, because he's a buddy of ours. Yeah, name dropper.
Nerd. Jack asks Cory why they're all out here. Cory says he found his father, and he slit his wrists the day after Cory saw him. He just casually sort of drops that.
Yeah.
Cory says that 4 days after his father was born, his family disappeared from the farm near here. Bonnie asks where his dad was. Cory says in an incubator at the hospital, and if he hadn't been there, he'd be gone too. Then right after Cory was born, his father came out here to find out what happened, but he never returned. Something bizarre has been going on at that farm for a long time, and Cory's going to find out what it is, but he needs their help. After the Scooby Gang all agree to help Cory, the old man comes out of the kitchen and tells them to stay away from that farm. Cory says he owns the property, but the old man says no, he doesn't. Dell asks who owns it, and the old man says, "The dead." When Dell gets into the old man's face, the owner pulls a gun out of his pocket. Jack says they don't want any trouble, so the old man tells them to get in their cars and go home. After they all leave, Cory stays behind and asks the old man what he's hiding. Harcourt, now I know what his name is, says he saw what happened to the Carter family. It was the drought of 29. A hot wind blew that summer. The cattle and crops were burned to a crisp. The smell of death hung in the air. It happened on a Sunday. All the families were at church except the Carters, and they never missed church. So that evening I went up to see if they were all right, and God help me, I saw them. I saw blood everywhere. Black blood on the walls, figures in the dark, laughing, coming at me. I screamed and I ran, and I never told a soul until now. It's actually a really good monologue. He delivers it really well.
He really does. It reminds me of, I didn't write it down, but it reminds me of in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. It was a night just like this.
Large Marge.
But then the guy he picks up, the convict too, it reminds me of because the convict lays into that story as well.
That's right. I always forget about that. I always remember Large Marge, but I forget about,
Because remember, that's when Pee-wee dresses up as a woman and they get pulled over and he's like winking at the cop or whatever. So funny, dude.
That movie's great.
Oh, rest in peace, Pee-wee.
Oh, rest in peace. Apparently, there's a new documentary about him coming out or something.
Yeah, I
want to
see that.
Yeah,
I want to see
me
that.
too. Me too.
Remember when he was busted for jerking off in a theater?
I know, and that sucks because that totally he got a lot of shit for that, and there's all oh, he's a pedophile. It's like he wasn't. He wasn't.
No,
it's so
he had a little sex addiction, obviously, but if you're jerking off in a movie theater, I mean, you definitely have an urge you got to scratch. But come on, no.
Well, so did what's his nuts from all the all the Mighty Wind movies. What was his name? Fred Willard.
Fred Willard did
so
too.
Did Fred Willard. So.
Yeah, and well, they're not Jeffrey Jones, the pederast from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah. No, he's been canceled. He's been canceled.
Rightfully so.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Like the dude in Return of the Living Dead.
Yep.
Oh,
oh boy. Oh, boy.
But anyways, the speech, night just like this. So it's funny because he does deliver it with that same gravitas.
Yes, he does. He does.
It's Large Marge.
Harcourt puts down the gun and says it isn't even loaded. Now,
which was like wind out of the sails at that point.
I know. And I do like how he kind of earnestly says this to Cory. He's like, "Please, boy, don't go up there." Cory says that he has to, and Harcourt says he understands. The old man relents and tells Cory to keep driving up the road until it ends, and then he'll find, the farm.
It literally is that delivery, too. He's like, come on, please, boy, don't go up there. It's like very much like casual after that, after this very dramatic speech, It's really funny.
Yeah. Cory and Harcourt walk out of the cafe, and Cory tells his friends everything's okay. Just then, we see another car driving down the dirt road. It's a convertible. One guy is driving while another guy in a magician outfit is sitting in the passenger seat.
Second favorite scene of the movie, by the way.
Oh, boy.
Yes,
this
is amazing.
Me too. The driver is speaking into a microphone. And real quick, but guys, he's not sitting in the passenger seat. He's sitting on the back of the passenger seat. So he's above the car. The magician is.
Yes.
Who is going to be Chuck. It's Chuck.
Not Cuck, but Chuck.
Almost Cuck.
Yes.
The driver is speaking into a microphone. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the wonderful world of magic. Today we will take you to the land of illusion and fantasy, where the commonplace is fantastic, and the fantastic is commonplace. The driver is Stacy, and the passenger is Chuck.
AKA Low Rent Supernatural, the TV series.
I kept thinking Chuck looked like Kevin Bacon's stunt double, and in terms of Spaceballs. Remember when they catch the main characters and he's like, "You didn't catch them, you caught their stunt doubles."
Totally.
That's where I was getting Chuck vibes. He's Kevin Bacon's stunt double.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. He reminds me of the actor who was in 3:15 Moment of Truth, but he was also, I think, mostly known for Secret Admirer. His name is Scott McGinnis.
Oh, we covered 3:10 Moment of Truth.
Yeah,
Mike, I think that was first or second season. That was a million years ago. I don't remember him, but I'll I need to I keep thinking I want to rewatch a lot of our first season movies because I haven't watched them in 6 years at this point, pretty much,
Right, I know, but yeah, you would know this guy if you saw him. He's also in Thunder Alley. I talk about Thunder Alley all the time. He's really good in that. I tried tracking him down at one point. He's really hard to pin down as far as I wanted to get him on $2 late fee. Maybe I'll get him on someday. But anyways, he kind of looks like that guy too.
Dell says he didn't know Terry's old boyfriend was going to show up, referring to Chuck the magician. As the car pulls up, Chuck looks at Terry and says, "A princess should always have flowers," in very ADR. And he pulls fake ones out of his sleeves and hands them to her. Then this is my favorite moment in the entire movie.
Second favorite for me, but yes.
Dell throws his beer can at Chuck, who deflects it with his magician's wand. And he's still in the car. Then, as the can is in the air, Chuck takes off his cape, jumps out of the car, then karate kicks the can into the air again and again until he roundhouses the can right into Dell's forehead. And Dell has this shocked look on his face, and I have the same look on my face, but I'm just like, this is amazing.
It's so good. Right into Dell's forehead. Well, the swelling gets bigger and it's so good. It's so funny. It's so random. You're like, what the hell? He's a magician? Wait, we got a magician now? Like, at this point now, I think we've got 6 or 7 people in the cast that just show up.
Yeah.
And we're not done yet, guys.
And one's better than the other. They're all like, oh my God.
Yeah, they're all like kind of, very colorful. For a low rent movie, they're very colorful.
Perfect way to say it. Yeah, they're very colorful characters. Dell and Chuck are about to fight when Stacy breaks them up with a magic trick of his own. So kind of like, throws down smoke, and then there's like a rabbit on the ground.
Yeah, which is great. There's a rabbit on the ground. And I'm like, don't kill the rabbit. Please don't kill the rabbit. They don't kill the rabbit.
Cory tells Dell to calm down, and he greets his friends. I like how he's like, thanks for coming, guys. And I like how Stacy says there's no place they'd rather be. Besides, you needed us here, so voila, we're here. The funny thing is, like, this movie is... Even though they're all going to kind of die, except for the main character, except for Cory and Elaine, it's like, but they're all good friends. They showed up for their friend when he needed them. And like, honestly, guys and gals, if you've ever gone through some horrible shit in life, you kind of find out who your real friends are. And those are the ones that show up. And yeah, Dell's a goon, and yeah, him and Chuck are like sort of button heads. But they're fucking good friends. They fucking showed up.
Well, that's why, I mentioned my 4 ex-girlfriends showing up to my stepfather's funeral because out of support. And again, I don't mean to like make joke of that because that was really sweet. It was very sweet. And I'm just goofing around. I don't want to be like, what the hell were they doing there? It was a little awkward though. But also April Fool's Day, like they're all kind of dicks to each other to respect, but they're all friends too. So it's kind of a similar vibe.
I didn't put it together when I was watching this, but now that you're saying it, I do. It feels very April Fool's Day-ish.
With the ending too, a little bit where you're like, oh, did this?
Yeah. Yeah. Only thing in this, I just, as much as I love his friends, I wish that releasing the magic at the end would have actually brought them back. But oh well, what can you do?
But budget,
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
You were supposed to keep me alive. Sorry, our budget just didn't call for it.
It also didn't call for any crafty either, so y'all got to figure out what to eat on your own.
Right, exactly.
Oh, real quick, Zach, what are your thoughts on the name Stacy for a guy, like Stacy Keach and everything?
Well, yeah, Stacy. It's like Tracy, I've known a dude once that named Tracy. That's a guy. And Stacy, I think I have known a couple. Have I ever known? No, Stacy Keach is probably the only one I've known. I never knew a guy named Sue.
A boy named Sue.
Yeah. Or, what? Yeah. It's kind of, I'm cool with it.
Okay.
I would never name my kid Stacy.
You're like, I don't want him getting beaten up in school.
Because if there's a dude out there named Stacy, and then they've heard Stacy's mom's got it going on, then it'd be like, hey, your mom's Stacy, and be like, shut up, dude. It's What are your thoughts on Stacy?
No, I like it, but I think I like it more the other way when girls have boy names like Francis or something, or Frankie
Sam,
or something like that.
Sam or Frankie.
Yeah, I think that's kind of cute. I like that.
Mitch. What?
What? What was that?
Or guys named girl names, like Cory. Wait, is that what?
What was that? Oh, fuck you.
No, I've never known a Cory girl. I've only known Cory guys in my life, but I know Cory Everson was a bodybuilder that I kind of had a crush on back in the 80s. She was in Double Impact.
Oh yeah, I had too. I liked her too. She was no McLish though, was she?
Rachel? No.
No.
Would you say Rachel McLish is like the Gina Carano of her time?
Damn, bro. Yep, you're pulling them out tonight, man. Yes, 100% agree. Hey. I don't know her political affiliations, but she has the on-screen vibe of Gina Carano.
Strictly talking looks. This is a surface show here. We don't get too deep.
No, not at all. Not on podcasting after dark.
Save that
That's
for
preposterous.
Save that for some other
$2
podcast.
late fee.
Yeah, exactly.
Cory asks if he's still coming, and he says, yeah, he's in. Same goes for Chuck. As Chuck is getting back into his car, Dell says next time he'll drop him like a bad habit. I like how Chuck sort of like just nods his head, then pulls a dove out of his jacket and throws it into the air and says, Shazam, as he drives away. And then, of course, the bird shits on Dell's vest.
It's amazing.
It is. As Cory and Elaine get into their car, Harcourt tells Cory that he's making a bad mistake, to which Cory replies, it's mine to make. As all the cars drive away, Harcourt says, damn fools.
Damn fools, but whatever, what are you gonna do?
Hey everybody, Cory here. I just want to let you know that we'll be right back after these short messages.
Hey everybody, I'm Tim.
And I'm Dean.
And we're the hosts of Talking Back. We're a retro-based podcast covering movies, comics, video games, and more.
Check us out every Monday where we hit the rewind button and dig into some of our favorite content from the past. We like to keep things fun, lighthearted, and informative.
Do you feel like you need more nostalgia in your life? Then check out Talking Back. We're available everywhere podcasts are found.
And now, back to the show. After some driving, the Scooby Gang arrives. As I didn't share my breakdown notes with Zach, but I love how earlier you were like, yeah, it gives me vibes of like Scooby-Doo. I refer to them as the Scooby Gang throughout this entire breakdown.
Yeah, you called them something more than that, but but yes, I wholeheartely agree, because there's a picture of them like by a low rent van, and it's like, yeah, this is like what do you call it? When Vivid Entertainment would do parodies.
Yeah, it does like not Scooby-Doo or not Star Wars. You know, I love it. That was a great time in porn history when literally it was like almost overnight. I feel like one person just discovered it and told everyone in porn, like, look, if you literally put not in front of the name,
yeah,
you can do it. They can't sue you because you're saying this is not Star Wars.
Yeah.
And then you make a Star Wars porn parody.
Yeah, it was much, and it got working at a video store, selling those and renting those tapes to customers. Like, they flew off the shelves because it had the name on it. Before, they would parody the name, so they call them Super Hornio Brothers or Blazing Mattress, Romancing the Bone, like stuff like that.
Yeah, all the thing is you hear Randall read off in Clerks,
But they're all real titles.
I know.
What a time.
Good time. So the Scooby Gang arrives at the old farm, or what's left of it. Most of the house and the barn have been burned to the ground, with only a few partial walls still standing, and the front door, of course. And you can tell that they just kind of built this set, on the location. And they're when they go inside the house, they're gonna film at on a studio.
Well, no, it's 6234 Satakoy Avenue. What the hell? I can't believe the actual address is there. I'm here to look at the Demon Wind movie.
Dude, the same thing for it was My Tutor, wasn't it? Yeah, it was My Tutor. Like, that had the longest list of locations on IMDb, and they gave exact addresses for everything. Like 30 locations.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you like a movie, you like a movie, but when it ends up being kind of a skin flick movie, you gotta really that's a little gross, you know?
Mhm.
Like, we really like that movie a lot to, like, research every location. What did you do at every location?
This is where Chuckles banged that chick against the wall.
Yeah, like, well, come on. It's like when I met Joyce Heiser for the first time, and I'm like, I'm a really big fan of yours. She goes, oh, yeah, what part? And I'm like, oh. She goes, I'm just kidding. I'm like, are you, though?
Are you, though? But also, too, you're not wrong, because that is my
I mean, look, I was a teenager.
I mean, come on.
The first time
we made love. We see there's a cross with a skeleton tied to it in the front yard. Everyone gets out of their cars and looks at the skeleton. Cory tells him not to touch it and then walks towards the house with the rest of them trailing behind. You know, no problem. Just skeleton and gets on a cross. No big
It's
deal.
funny, though, because when he's like, don't touch it, you're like, yeah, no one's touching it.
No, Dell was about to touch it.
Well, yeah.
Dell's, of course it's Dell.
Of course, yeah, Dell.
As Bonnie is walking across the yard, she trips and falls and lands face to face with a skull half buried in the ground. She screams and everyone comes rushing to help her. When Cory leans down to touch the skull, energy transforms from the skull to his hands, and Cory looks up to see what happened to that person it once was. We flash back to a young man running across the yard at dusk, and the wind is blowing. When he gets to the spot where the skull is resting in the present, the young man freezes in place and blood starts gushing out of his mouth. He falls over dead. Cory stands up and says, "He was my dad's older brother." Dell asks how he knows, and Cory says he just does. Dell picks up a broken lantern and says some psycho killed everyone and burned the house down with him in it. It's easy. He figured it all out. Again, the flashback scene, I like the wind stuff. I like the stuff when you can't see it, you know? I like wind in movies.
We're going to make that on a t-shirt. I like wind in movies. Cory. I'm going to wear that and people are going, what? You know, I do, but I do. I like wind in movies. Mine will say, I'm not really an asshole, Zach. I'm not really.
Really? The really is going to be like sort of italicized, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree too. And like, you got to have have wind in a movie called Demon Wind. However, like, I know that people might go, of course, but there are some times in movies where you're like, what? This movie was called this and there's nothing connected to it.
Well, and also too, there still isn't that much wind in Demon Wind.
No, there's not a lot, but there's enough.
And sadly, there is no that green monster that's on the cover of the Blu-ray. That's not actually in the movie.
It's like Deathstalker, where you're like,
yeah,
they didn't look that good.
Yeah, no, yeah, did not quite look like that painting. Cory walks past Dell and heads for the front door. Chuck says to Stacy, "I don't know what the hell happened here, but you sure can tell death walked through this place." You know, the writer and / director, when he was writing that, he was like, "Gold, Jerry, gold."
He should say that again.
Cory and the Scooby Gang walk up to the front door and open it. They're shocked to see everything looks normal inside, like it did before the place burned down. Now, let me just explain, guys and gals. Obviously, if you looked through the front door of the rubble of this house, you would be staring at trees and stuff behind it. Like, that's the whole point. It's like, I mean, I'm talking like, what, Zach, 70% of the structure is gone. Like, only about 30% is standing.
It just looks like a door with a wall.
Yeah, basically.
It's really funny, actually.
Yeah.
I kind of actually appreciate and like this.
Me too, because basically the door is a portal. I don't know if it's the past or if it's like more of an alternate reality or just like a moment in time, but the doorway is a portal.
Well, I believe the term they use is time and relative dimension in space.
There you go.
There's an acronym for that, I think.
Cory walks around the door.
Do you know what that acronym is?
No, what is it?
TARDIS. Idiot.
I'm not. Fuck you. I'm not a huge fucking.
What, you don't know
So
Doctor Who?
That's what TARDIS stood for.
Yeah, time and relative dimensions in space.
I had no fucking clue. I've seen Tenet. I've seen one season of Tenet, and 1 season of Eccleston, the first season of like the reboot. You
I'm
know?
not a fan of the new Doctor Who. I really am not. I like the old one. And
Yeah, you are a huge OG Doctor Who fan.
Huge.
Zach is the real deal. Zach was watching the shit with the guy with the rainbow fucking scarf and shit.
Yeah.
Dude, when I was a kid, I saw that dude on the screen. I was like, fuck that asshole.
Wow. I'm gonna petition for TV Obscura to do like a BBC version of TV Obscura where we do Blake 7, Doctor Who, and Red Dwarf. And dude, you will love Red Dwarf. Cory Diallo, can cover Blake 7, or I'll cover it. And no, I have to cover Doctor Who.
You have to cover.
I have to.
And I know not Red Dwarf, right? Yeah, Red Dwarf.
Yeah, Red Dwarf rules.
I've never seen it, but I like, being a fan of comic books, being a fan of sci-fi and stuff, I know I've seen pictures of Red Dwarf. Blake 7, I know the name, but I don't know it in my head.
You would love
it. And of course
it.
I know Doctor Who. I mean, you can't be alive and just not have seen pictures of Doctor Who.
Yeah. I mean, we could cover the young ones.
I remember that. I remember the young ones. I've actually seen a couple episodes of the young ones.
God, I love that show. Maybe we'll do like a 4 episode.
No, dude, seriously, I'm down to do a BBC TV Obscura, absolutely.
Meanwhile, Crystal's going, guys, hello.
Demon Wind.
Beep, beep. Oh, beep, beep.
Beep, beep.
There you go.
Cory walks around the door and through the giant hole in the wall and looks at the rubble in the house. He then walks up to the front door and looks at his friends. He's on the other side now. He looks at the friends, but they can't see him. They only see the inside of the house as the way it was. And this concept, I think, is really cool. And they pull it off perfectly. Like, when you watch the movie, you totally get what they're doing here.
It's shot really well. Like,
it is.
It's shot really well. Who is the cinematographer on this?
Yeah, look. Yeah, you go do that.
You go do that, buddy. You look up that motherfucker. I'm still on Secret Admirer because I want to break that movie down someday. That movie rules. The cinematographer for Demon Wind is Thomas L. Calloway. And Thomas L. Calloway is known for...
he did Feast. I fucking love that movie.
Wow, that's really interesting. He's got a lot of projects under his belt. And...
he did Deep Blue Sea 2.
Yeah.
I'm way too excited about these.
Cruise Ship Murder. Yeah, no...
But no, he's got a shit ton of credits. He's clearly, he's working his ass off. 176 credits, man. That's fucking impressive. And this movie is damn well shot,
Yeah, look, again, this movie has way too much going on for it that I think it deserves more credit. That people might go look at this and say, "Oh, this movie's trash." No, it's not.
Here we go. He got it. He got one of his earlier movies is Ghost Riders. Remember that one? I remember the VHS cover for it. But then he did Slave Girls from Beyond Infinity, Creepazoids, and Slumber Party Massacre 2, all back to back. And then he also, he in Action USA, he did that one, which literally just came out recently, even though it was filmed back in 1989.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I really enjoyed that movie, actually. But yeah, and he did Roadhouse 2. Roadhouse 2, Last Call, which featured, rest in peace, Richard Norton.
Oh, man.
My good buddy.
Man. Yeah. No, Zach was friends with Richard Norton. That was very sad when he passed.
It really was. I actually just did a Tales from the Video Store tribute to Richard Norton with Dustin.
Oh, good.
Dustin came back, and the two of us did a tribute. If that's not out already, it will be out soon.
Okay, good.
On Patreon.
He
did Rage and Honor with Richard Norton and Cynthia Rothrock. There's your connection. And Critters 3.
Yeah, Critters 3, Critters 4.
Ooh, baby. And one more shout-out credit for him, Ghetto Blaster, which David Irons brought up.
We talked about that with David Irons.
Yep.
Yes.
Anyway, sorry. Back to...
Demon... Cory walks back around and tells his friends he's going inside, even though his friends urge him not to. He does, and he looks around the kitchen and sees a meal has been prepared but left uneaten. He then sees a headless skeleton in the corner and bends down to examine the necklace on it. "To Regina with all my love," it says. The rest of the Scooby Gang walk through the door and Cory tells Elaine that the skeleton is his grandmother. The group look around and see Latin words written on the wall in black soot. Bonnie reads them and flames immediately shoot out of the fireplace. Then the house starts shaking and everything is blowing up and crashing down. Chuck hilariously looks around. I love Chuck's expressions here. He's like, oh, you know.
Yeah, Chuck is great. He's great.
He's very animated.
Yeah, Chuck and Stacy are awesome.
Yes, well, no, Dell is hands down my favorite, but I think Chuck and Stacy are my favorite duo.
I agree.
Cory yells for everyone to get out, and they run back through the front door, but not before a kitchen knife hits the wall next to Cory's head, and he makes a very, very silly face. It's wonderful. Zach, I will say that it was really cool because when everything was breaking and everything in there, you could tell that like they weren't in there, and they set up cameras and then just shot the things, you know, like literally just shot them like with a gun, making them explode. But they just probably had, you know, clearly no one was like manning the cameras and whatnot, and they just basically destroyed the place. But it was very effective. Special effects, makeup effects, everything solid. Infinitely better than the budget has any right for it to be. Yeah, I agree. Outside, everyone is freaking out. Chuck and Stacy run to their car and get their guns, because of course. And Cory asks Bonnie what the Latin translated to, that she read, and it was, "Now Satan shall walk." So hold on, I got to roll that back really quick when you said everyone gets their guns. And suddenly everyone is like shooting round after round at one point. Yes, and I started writing down, literally I was writing down in my notes, where are they getting all these bullets from? And then they do... And it's credit to the movie. They address that in one scene. I'm like, they all, not all of them, but they like, there's a lot of weapons going on. Did he preface this by saying, guys, you know, I need you to come bring your guns and bring your guns. Yeah. There's some point Chuck has a 6-shooter revolver and he fires at least 20 shots. Yeah. I'm like, damn, he's a magician and a murderer. Would it be funny if all those zombies are just actually people and it was like, you know what I mean? Yeah, magic. Like just real people. They were just magic. So Dell wants to get the hell out of there, of course. They all do, I'm sure. Yeah. Before it gets dark, but Cory wants to stay and figure out what happened to his grandparents. Just then a wind picks up and the skeleton on the makeshift cross falls to the ground. That was the last straw and everyone gets in their cars and leaves. Except all the car batteries are dead. Now they're freaking out more, but Jack doesn't believe in the supernatural. He thinks it's a mass hallucination. Bonnie says there's an evil here that's been waiting for them and makes Jack promise not to bury her here if she dies. That was cool. I actually like that. That kind of like gave me the heebie-jeebies, you know? She's like, just don't bury me here if I die. You know, he's a scientist. He doesn't believe in the supernatural until he sees all this, and then he becomes Egon. He joins the Ghostbusters. Since the cars are dead, they all decide to grab what they can and walk back to Harcourt's gas station. We see it starting to get darker, so we know there's a time jump when we cut to the Scooby Gang walking down the dirt road. Just then, a thick fog rolls in and engulfs them. Once it passes, they look around and notice they aren't on the dirt road anymore. The fog comes back again to engulf them, and again, once it leaves, they're in a different area. This happens a couple more times until Cory and his pals are back where they started at the burned down farm. It's almost like the demons, that were controlling the wind. They're like, I got you. Oh, crap, I missed. Here you go. Oh, crap, I missed. And, it took like 6 tries for them to get him back to the house, Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Just then, 3 young girls and their Sunday dresses materialize out of nowhere. Dell walks over to them and kneels down to ask where they came from. One of the girls grabs him and throws him back 10 feet. The kids then say in unison, "You can't leave." And you know what's awesome is I like it when little kids are evil in movies like this, and they do not have children or Village of the Damned vibes. It's not that, and you could have easily sort of gone that way. I like that they kind of went the way they did go. Yeah, shades of In the Mouth of Madness kind of vibe. Stuck in this loop. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Man, I wanted to love that movie more than I actually did. I always think that, buddy. I was talking to somebody else, I think I was listening to a podcast, and they were talking about how much they loved In the Mouth of Madness and how they thought Prince of Darkness was okay. And I'm just like,
wow.
Yeah, I was like, you got that backwards.
Don't name them because I don't give them credit, but they're wrong. And
I
sincerely, and they must be younger than us, I'm assuming. Yeah. And FYI, there is a adaptation of a Sutter Kane story coming out later this year. So it's going to
awesome.
it's going to have the Sutter Kane cover. John Carpenter or whoever runs his social media posted an image and said it's like coming in August or September, I think, but it's going to be written by Sutter Kane. It's a full novel, and it's got the cover art looks just like one of the books. So if you weren't one of the lucky ones to buy one of the props that he was selling at one point a couple years ago on his website, don't worry, it'll probably be like $10.
That's like some like Andy Kaufman shit, and I love that kind of shit where like reality sort of blurs a little bit. That's so cool, dude.
Yeah, I was when I was a kid, the movie Jake Speed came out. I told Leigh Germani about it because he'd never seen it, and because at some point I want to cover it on $2 late fee and probably have Leigh on for that episode. But anyways, like in that movie, Jake Speed's based on a book, like Remo Williams, Doc Savage. So they've got these Jake Speed books, and I'm like, oh, how rad would that have been? Like I wanted so badly as a kid. I would go to old bookstores to find something that resembled that because I had the Remo Williams books and the Destroyer, and
Yeah.
Anyways.
No, that's so cool.
I love when they do that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, or when they would put out Evil Dead or something, and it would come like in the Necronomicon. I don't know. It's sort of similar to that, but I love the fact that like whoever really wrote it, I love the fact that they got paid and they're like, but let's call it Sutter Kane and just completely completely sell the bit, commit to the bit.
Totally. And last thing I'll bring up is Destroy All Vampires, the comic books that the Frog Brothers give Corey Haim. I own those because they put out like Blackthorn Comics or whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
But they repressed those a couple years ago in these like limited edition, it's so badass. And it's an actual comic book. It's the same deal. You open it up, it's like literally the comic book they were talking about in the movie.
If I could have a comic from a movie from my childhood, a horror movie from my childhood, I always liked the one the little blonde kid was reading in Return of the Living Dead Part 2.
Oh, yeah.
And where the superhero sort of fights the zombie. It's kind of like in the sewers, too, so it kind of mirrors what he goes through later.
Done that yet?
I know. I feel like people don't talk about Return of the Living Dead Part 2 as much.
They don't. And if you're interested, we broke that movie down scene by scene. So go back in the archives of Pad for that.
Yeah, that was like season 1. And actually, I was thinking about it because I'm going to watch my nephew this weekend. I was just trying to come up with some, maybe some horror movies that he can watch. I think he can watch Return of the Living Dead Part 2. There's no major gore in that. There's no nudity in that.
No, but it's pretty intense.
It's dark. The problem is it's dark, and I think what I would be afraid of is because kids die in it, and that even me when I watched that as a kid gave me a little bit of like the willies because we're indestructible at that age.
Right? Did you show him Monster Squad yet?
Yeah, I know he has seen Monster Squad. He loved Monster Squad.
Okay.
I was about to show him The Gate, but
no.
But his in real life, my nephew's best friend, who's his age, 9 and 10, his best friend's mom killed herself like just within like the last year.
Yikes.
So I think that, and so I think in The Gate, his friend's mom died. I think it's gonna be triggering. So I'm like, nope.
Be triggering.
Yeah, I cut that one. No.
You know what would be a good one? Does he like older movies?
He doesn't mind, he'll watch whatever I show him.
Because there's one I'm going to show Bodhi this weekend. It's called The Private Eyes. It's with Don Knotts and Tim Conway.
I know exactly which one you're talking about. I was a huge Don Knotts fan as a kid, but I was also a huge Tim Conway fan.
Dude, it is so much fun. Like, I watched the first 10 minutes of it just to kind of remind myself. It's so much fun. So consider that.
Okay. I love that movie as a kid. I also was thinking about showing him 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Oh, yeah.
I love that movie as a kid, but we'll see.
Crystal's going beep, beep.
The kids say in unison, "You can't leave." Bonnie screams and breaks away from the group and runs right into another young girl in her Sunday dress. The demon girl says, "You're mine." Bonnie screams as she turns into a baby doll with blood coming out of its mouth, nose, and eyes. The doll is also kind of dressed like Bonnie. Jack picks up the doll and it says to him, "You lied." He drops the possessed toy in horror and erupts in flames on the ground. So, Zach, this was another moment. It's not the best, like, when it happens, but what I appreciate is what they sort of tried to go for. And especially, like, I'm sort of new to dolls. Like, I watched it for the first time, I think, during COVID or something, and loved it. Like, over the moon loved it. So I enjoyed that we kind of got a little bit of that here. And I like the idea. I just wish maybe they'd gone a little bit further with it. But this, and then later, like what you said, that you loved with like the cow skull and everything. I like it when the movie does weird shit like this.
Yeah, me too. And Dolls was a great comparison to bring up because Dolls came out before this, so there's probably some influence for sure. Dolls, by the way, holds up in spades. I saw that a couple of years ago at the Aero Theater for the Horror-thon, and it was so much fun seeing it with a big audience.
I was fucking blown away by that movie.
Yeah, I'm surprised that people don't. Well, by the way, everyone, we just wrapped up, or we're about to wrap up, the Coscarelli Factor, where we talk about, our Tour de Force series on Patreon, patreon.com/podcastingafterdark. It's a little bit cheaper than the highest tier. And if you're considering joining, you could join at that tier where we talk about directors that we love. We did John Carpenter. We talked about his entire filmography, as well as Don Coscarelli. We're wrapping up and we're picking a new one, and you can vote on it if you're a Patreon member. The choices are Bill Lustig, who did Maniac Cop and Vigilante, which we broke down, and Maniac, for example. Larry Cohen, who did The Stuff, It's Alive. If you look at the filmography of Larry Cohen, it's insane. He's done some Q, the Winged Serpent.
Q, the Winged Serpent.
But then also the last one is Stuart Gordon, who, of course, Reanimator from Beyond, but also Dolls. So, and Robot Jocks. So you can choose one of those three.
Two of those were in the Empire Pictures Blu-ray box set that we both picked up. And I mean, the whole reason I got that was for Robot Jocks and Dolls, because Shout Factory had, they put out Dolls, but it was only in print for like a year, and then it went out of print, and then it was fucking like $100 on eBay. So I was like, it's so funny because you could either buy Dolls, the Shout Factory Dolls Blu-ray on eBay for the exact same price for the entire box set, the Empire Pictures box set that has, Arena, Cellar Dweller, Robot Jocks, Dolls,
Sword and Sorcerer,
or the
Dungeon
one with Tom
Master.
Hanks,
Dungeon
Master, and then the one with Tom Hanks, right?
No. Dungeon Master had Richard Mole in it. You're thinking of the
Magics and Mazes,
Mazes and Magic, which is out on Blu-ray, but don't buy it because it's trash.
Yeah,
it's trash. But I love when people go on eBay and jack their prices up on a Blu-ray, and they're like, I'm gonna make so much money off it, and then they come out with this and they're like, damn it.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate eBay. I hate eBay.
But yeah, I hope if anyone picks Stuart Gordon, well, I mean, I would want to do all three of them, and go check out our Patreon and go vote. We'll cover whoever you guys vote for. So, all three of them are great picks. So I'm happy to visit all of them.
Yeah, we're gonna so go to patreon.com/podcastingafterdark and join today. Beep beep.
Dell asks Cory what they're supposed to do now since it'll be dark soon. Cory thinks they'll be safe inside the house. He doesn't think it was trying to kill them earlier. It was trying to warn them. As everyone reluctantly goes through the front door and into the magical house, Chuck stops Terry and tells her they need to talk. Chuck says he still loves her, but Terry reminds him that she's with Dell now. The reasoning, Dell needs her and Chuck doesn't. I'm like, that's the reason? You're with Dell because he needs you? But of course, Dell's been watching this entire exchange from a distance. I love it as they're talking back and forth, and obviously Chuck's like still in love with Terry. Like, Dell's out of focus in the background, just like watching them and getting more and more pissed,
It's like the Kyle Troy in Adventures of crying.
And of course, he has enough, and so Dell just walks over and just punches Chuck in the face. Chuck gets back to his feet and tells Dell they have nothing to fight about. Terry is choosing him. Dell says, Well, let's go inside then. Chuck shoots back. Good idea. And that's it. It's diffused.
Done. This movie, I think you could trim 7 minutes off this and make it just 90 minutes, but it moves along at a nice pace. You don't get too like hammered down with, okay, God, this scene's dragging. Nothing really drags too much in this.
No, because something interesting is happening, whether it's an like interpersonal thing between different characters or it's something horrific. There's always something fun going on.
Because there's a fucking Robert Altman film with like 20 people in the cast.
I know.
There's
it's like
literally
it's like the
so
Big
many
Chill
people
or something, you know?
Yeah, it's that's a good connection. The Big Chill with a bunch of people.
That's a movie that I watched at a young age and weirdly really liked.
Oh, well, because it's really good. Lawrence Kasdan's a really good director and writer, and then he followed it up with Grand Canyon later on, and it's like the 90s version of it.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Made me cry.
Never seen that one. Okay.
It's not a 90s version of Big Chill, but it's got a great ensemble with Kevin Kline and Steve Martin and fucking Lethal Weapon, Danny Glover and
no shit. Okay.
Yeah, Alfre Woodard and oh my God, it's got an amazing cast.
I mean, you know, I love Kasdan, Empire Strikes Back, yada yada yada.
Yeah, he just like there was something he just did recently. I'm like, Lawrence Kasdan did that? Holy crap! Anyways, it was like the Minecraft. He directed the Minecraft movie. Yes. No, he did not.
I was like, what?
No, he didn't. The guy who directed Nacho Libre did. That's why it's really fucking funny. Minecraft movie's hilarious, everybody.
I've actually heard nothing but good things about the Minecraft movie.
It's really good.
Never expected that happening.
Me too.
Once back inside the house, the gang cautiously looks around until Cory says he thinks it's going to be okay. They then clean up the broken dishes and whatnot from earlier when the house was trying to warn them. While the Scooby Gang is tidying up, Cory explores the house and sees a vision of his grandmother beckoning him to go into her old bedroom in a non-sexual way. Cory looks... I figured, well, I should probably write that in there. Cory looks
like,
around.
In my day, it was the opposite.
Well, she was a hot grandma. No, she wasn't. She really wasn't.
She said, snakes on the china. Come on, Cory. Come in.
Cory looks around until a desk drawer slides out on its own. Cory walks over and looks inside to find an old journal. He sits down on the bed and starts looking through it. Some of the pages look like they were written in ancient language, like you'd see in the Necronomicon. But then he reads a passage about conjuring a demon. Just then, Elaine walks in and scares him. He shows Elaine his grandmother's diary and starts reading from it. It is dusk. I know tonight I will die. Even the spells grandmother taught me can't save us now. Cory continues reading. I know that someday you, my kin, will face the evil that comes for me. In the bottom drawer of the vanity you will find 2 daggers, which are part of a sacred set of 7. The other 5 have been lost. It is written that with all 7 you can kill the son of Satan. I pray these 2 might help you. I love that world-building backstory.
I do too. It's a smart film. Damn it, Crystal.
I know, Zach wanted to hate this.
She's sitting back with her arms crossed, behind her head and going, yep.
Well, she said when she told me that this is the one she picked, she says she's been on a tear and like watching this on repeat multiple times. I get it. I can see if this is someone's like comfort movie, like just put on in the background and kind of just zone out and enjoy. I can totally see that.
I agree. I'm not gonna lie. I pulled the trigger after watching it and bought it on Vinegar Syndrome.
Oh, dude, it has some good extras, got some good interviews in it and everything. And yeah, this is definitely one worth picking up. And guys and gals, if you made it this far into the review and you've never seen it, just stop listening now and go buy it. Go watch it. It might be on Tubi. I don't know. I'm sure it is.
It is. And actually it's on YouTube, but be careful on YouTube because there's a couple different versions. There's a decent HD version, but there's also one that has like a commentary track underneath it from some podcast guys that I think they're high while they're doing it, so they're goofing on it. They're like doing their own riff tracks.
Yeah. The riff tracks thing. We don't do that, guys and gals, but you all know that.
We don't do it, and we don't besmirch anybody for doing that. Whatever.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm sure there's but that's not us, and that's why you're listening to us because we're better.
Thank you. Cory and Elaine walk over to the vanity, open the bottom drawer, and pull out the 2 black daggers. Back in the living room, Cory catches everyone up on the lowdown. This farm was built by my great-grandfather. He and a group of settlers followed a preacher named Enders to this valley. Cool name, by the way.
Yeah.
When they arrived, Enders started preaching about the false god in the Bible and the true God he found here. Jack asks if he was a Satan worshiper, and Corey says, yeah, who tried to raise the devil. Then 3 little girls disappeared. The searchers found them, what was left of them, on an altar behind Ender's place. There was a big fight. Ender and all of his followers are burned to death in his house. Chuck says that sounds fair. Stacy adds, I hope they cooked slow. Ha.
Oh, Stacy.
Corey keeps going. After that, everything was okay until the summer of 29. That was the year my father was born. Corey reads from the journal. June 8th, Mrs. James had triplets. They were killed right after the birth. None of the babies were even human. Elaine adds that all the children were the same, except Corey's dad. Dell asks what was so special about him. Corey has no idea, but says, the last entry reads, everyone is dead except George and I. It's all hopeless. I can hear them rising out in the barn. And the journal is finished. Corey looks around and says, and that's what happened to my family. Dell says, and now we're in the middle of all this. Yeah, you're not wrong, Dell. I mean, it sucks that you have to deal with Corey's bullshit now.
Sorry, Dell. You're not a funky Homo sapien.
What?
Dell the funky Homo sapien. You know that guy?
No, what's that from?
He's a rapper. Mr. Dabalina, Mr. Bob Dabalina.
Oh, no, I never heard
Oh,
of
dude. That's
Okay.
like old school 90s hip hop from Oakland, California. So
oh, no shit.
do you remember the band The Gorillaz?
Yeah, of course.
He was originally in the Gorillaz before they became more commercialized.
Interesting.
He's
okay.
so good. Yeah,
Okay.
Dell is amazing. Also, there's a thread that Cory, Leigh, Germani, and I are on, and I shouted out Deltron 3030, which was a concept album, a hip hop sci-fi concept album that came out 25 years ago. It's amazing.
Is it on Spotify? Can I listen to it on Spotify?
You should be able to listen to it on Spotify. It is so badass.
Awesome.
Yeah. So Dell the Funky Homo Sapien, so good, dude. Like he's just different. He's different. I highly recommend, if you don't know who he is and you like hip hop, check out Dell the Funky Homo Sapien.
Okay. I mean, I think in the 90s hip hop wise, I was listening to a lot of Onyx. And probably some,
let the boys be boys.
Yep. Some Two Live Crew, some Humpty Dance, all that shit, man.
Yeah, dude. Look, all that stuff's good stuff. But Dell was different. He was like he kind of had a different cadence the way he rapped. So
okay.
Yeah, I think you'll really dig it.
Yeah, after that, I got into dirty South hip hop, Cash Money stuff like Lil Wayne and Juvie and all them, Birdman and whatnot. I was a big Juvenile fan back in, I guess that would be late 90s, like early 2000s.
Of course you were.
Of course I was.
And now he listens to 80s synth.
Yeah, now he listens to stuff like The Midnight, Time Cop, Gunship. Like that's pretty much what I listen to
Yeah,
now.
dude.
Cut to later in the night, and we see Stacy and Chuck keeping guard by the front door. Stacy has a shotgun, and Chuck has a pistol. They're talking about where they want to go after this is all over. Chuck suggests Tahiti, but Stacy says they do voodoo there. Then he suggests Vegas, because nothing spiritual lives in Vegas, and Chuck's down with that. Just then, they hear a woman's voice call to them. They look out the window, and a topless blonde, played by adult movie star Tiffany Million, walks out of the fog, beckoning them to come outside and play with her. Chuck and Stacy look at each other and say, "Demon," in unison. They turn. I know, I love that. They turn around to tell the Scooby Gang what they saw, and everyone is asleep. Chuck says, "I guess it only wants us." Our two reluctant heroes decide to go outside and handle the problem themselves. But yeah, like aside from Elaine's butt earlier, Tiffany Million is the only nudity you see in this movie, but God bless him for putting it in there. You know, this movie checks every box and everything. I don't think Zach was the biggest fan of Tiffany Million, though. It's 1990 this movie comes out. Her hair looks very like 85, you know?
Yeah, she's not what you would consider a MILF, I guess. And it's just not my cup of tea. It looks a little bit like Monique Parent, who is a softcore actress in all these Cinemax movies after dark.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, it doesn't, hey, God bless you for taking all your clothes off.
God bless you. Once outside, Chuck and Stacy hear voices coming from the fog, but don't see anything or anyone. They walk around the property with their guns and flashlights drawn. Suddenly, the Tiffany Million demon that was beckoning them comes floating out of the mist, but now she's monstrous. And it's really cool because like you see her like her feet floating off the ground, and they're like they're grotesque, you know?
It's cool. Like you don't see you don't see cables, you don't see wires.
Yeah, you don't. It's great.
It looks really good.
Yeah.
This was a movie I was watching at the time, and Dustin from $2 Late Fee, he loves schlocky films. Nothing like too gory though, And I'm like, this is the perfect movie for people that are not huge horror fans to show them.
Yeah, because there is gore, but it's not like really gory gore.
No, it's not little Cory gory. It's just it's little Cory. We are gonna get to that movie someday down the road.
I'm sure we will. Stacy shoots her with his shotgun. Now more zombie demons are coming out of the fog. Chuck and Stacy stand ass to ass and start blasting the zombie demon horde that is surrounding them. After they drop a baker's dozen zombies, Stacy makes a gurgling noise, and Chuck turns around to see that his heterosexual life partner's throat has been torn out. Stacy says, "Presto," as he falls to the ground dead. Chuck fires off the last rounds in Stacy's shotgun, then runs for the house. He's stopped by a zombie demon who's standing in his way. That's no problem for Chuck, though. He just roundhouse kicks her head off. He then karate fights yeah, dude, and that is one of the clips that I saw on Instagram that made me be like, oh, I need to watch this movie. He then karate fights a few more, but they stop coming as he stands by the front door of the house. Chuck pulls a move from Creepshow 2's The Raft and thinks he's safe and sound. He tells the zombies to fuck off, but as he turns around, the Tiffany Millions demon is right behind him, and she tackles him to the ground. We hear Chuck scream off camera. But yeah, totally the Raft vibes from Creepshow 2. When he gets to the land, he's like, I beat you, and then he gets eaten.
You. Yeah. Did you ever read the actual story that it's based on? I think it's from Skeleton Crew. I think that's the short.
I might have, because I think I read Skeleton Crew, so I think I might have actually read that one.
Yeah, was it that one? Yeah, different seasons had Shawshank Redemption. Yeah, Skeleton Crew had The Raft in it. Okay. Skeleton Crew is my favorite Stephen King compilation. So good, but man, that Creepshow adaptation is as close as you could possibly get to the actual adaptation of the best adaptation of a Stephen King story.
Yeah, like almost like 1-to-1 almost. Yeah,
right. The only difference being that scene where he gets all rapey with the girl who's asleep.
Yeah, that's I mean, even as a kid, I was like, ooh, boobies, but at the same time I was like, but it feels weird. Like I was like, it doesn't feel right, Yeah. But I will say I watched Creepshow 2 so much more than I watched Creepshow 1.
Oh, it's more fun. It definitely has a Creepshow 1 is just it's more heavy.
Yeah. And I liked the animated segments in Creepshow 2, especially when the bullies get eaten by the Venus flytraps and whatnot.
So good.
Awesome. Yeah,
so
I love that movie.
You got that dude from Mind Hunter as the Native American guy.
Oh, yeah. With he definitely in brown face. Yeah.
Love that dude, though. And like, that's the same guy.
Yep, he was in Mindhunter. He had a kind of a smaller part in Alien 3. He was one of he was the one that tries to rape Ripley in the trash area.
Right.
And then Charles S. Dutton comes and like hits him in the head with the pipe. That was him too. That was that guy.
His name's like Holt McElhenney. He played Fritz von Erich in The Iron Claw, so he's amazing in that.
He's not Native American. That's for sure.
Nope.
Nope. So Chuck screams outside. This causes everyone inside to wake up. And by the way, when they were kind of sleeping, it seemed like they were under a spell, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, I wasn't sure if that was how I was supposed to take it or not, but that's how I perceived it.
That's how you're going to take it. This has been one
That
of the
was good,
wildest
buddy.
episodes. I guess Corey's going to be like, can you get jet lag more often? Because this is fun.
You're on fire, buddy.
Well, we haven't recorded in 2 weeks, so.
We have a lot to make up for. I missed you, buddy.
I missed you too.
Oh man. So they open the front door and look outside for Chuck and Stacy, and then they see their friends' dead bodies in the front yard, and Terry loses it. Because of course Terry still loved Chuck, because Dell's a goon.
Dell is a goon. Have we gotten to the point where said A-list actor has appeared?
Nope.
Okay.
Oh, we will do that. It'll be in the big zombie horde at the end.
Got it. Okay.
Back inside the house, Dell is comforting Terry while Cory and Elaine check the back room for more info on how to fight the demons. Elaine asks why he didn't tell the rest of them about the spells and daggers. Cory doesn't think the rest of them would take the news that his grandmother was a witch very well. Elaine thinks the spells might help them, though. Cory dryly remarks, they didn't help her much, did they?
Ba-dum-bum.
He's not wrong.
Nope.
Cory takes out one of the daggers and gives it to Elaine. Maybe it will offer her some protection. Back in the living room, Dell is spooning with Terry on the couch. Dell's the big spoon, of course. He runs his hand over her body, then she turns over, and Dell sees that it's Chuck he's spooning with, and half of Chuck's face is missing. The makeup on Chuck's face is fan-fucking-tastic right here.
I am so happy with the makeup. I go back to like Demons. It's very reminiscent of that, or elements of Cemetery Man. Like that. It's like low budget, demonic looking faces. It looks really good.
Yeah, they do a great fucking job with it.
Yep.
Dell wakes up from his nightmare screaming. Though I'm sure it had more to do with him spooning a man than it did with Chuck's face being messed up.
Yeah, his crotch is really soiled. No, I'm joking. Stop.
Terry rushes over to confront Dell. She says she wishes they were home right now. Just then, Jack tells them he hears a car coming. They all rush outside, and it's daytime now, by the way, to see Willie and Rena pull up in their little Suzuki.
And again, Suzuki sidekick, I think is what it is.
I think it is. That little tiny, little fucking piece of shit Suzuki thing.
Yeah, with like the plastic windows and the soft top, basically.
Yeah. Yep.
I kind of wanted one when I was a kid because I thought it looked cool, but I don't now.
I hear Suzuki and I think of Gilbert Gottfried saying, "Suzuki Samurai, you Bensonhurst piece of shit," in Fort Fairlane. I got flagged for that, by the way. Someone made on Instagram, made a post about Fort Fairlane, and I said, "Suzuki Samurai, you Bensonhurst piece of shit." And then a day later, I got a notification that my interactions have been limited or something. I'm like, you know what? If you post something about a movie and don't understand what the fucking quote is, go fuck yourself.
How often does that happen? Quite a bit.
Exactly.
By the way, I love cars in Japan. I love those small cars.
Oh, I know. Me too, buddy. Oh, so good.
So cool.
So as they're running over to Willie and Rena,
this is funny.
Cory's yelling for them not to turn off the car.
Huh? What?
What? Well, of course, Willie does.
Yeah, because he can't
didn't
hear
them.
Yeah, the engine was running.
I know.
And Willie's a tool bag,
that powerful muscle engine was running. When he tries to turn the car back on, the engine won't turn over. Rena asks, "What did we do wrong? We just got here." I feel for her because it's like she's walking into just the middle of chaos.
And again, cue 2 more people to the movie.
I know.
I'm like, how many more friends does this Cory guy have?
He's got great fucking friends.
A lot for kind of a douche.
Too bad he's going to get them all fucking killed.
Too bad for too bad.
Too bad for you, too bad. Just then, the wind picks up and a demonic-sounding noise comes from the woods. Cory says they better get back inside. Willie and Rena reluctantly follow them because they're like, okay, I guess.
Yep.
And I love... Cut to inside the house, and they've already put Willie to work boarding up the windows.
Willie, by the way, he doesn't really say a whole lot, and he's got a dangling earring, and he's funny. He's just funny looking. He's an entertaining guy to watch. But I'm like, this poor sack is gonna die soon. I just know it.
He has to.
Yep.
Dell and Terry walk over to Cory and tell them they aren't going to spend another night in this damn house. They're going for help. Dell asks Terry if she's sure she doesn't want to stay with them. Like I told you before, honey, where you go, I go. That's why I keep her with me. Cory gives Dell the pistol and they shake hands. The rest of the Scooby gang walk their friends outside to see them off. Once Dell and Terry are out of earshot, Jack says he doesn't think they'll make it, and Cory agrees. They all go back inside and board up the house. It's dusk now. You didn't need to say that. We all know they're not going to make it.
Right.
Hey everybody, Cory here. I just want to let you know that we'll be right back after these short messages. Hey everybody, Cory here.
And it's me, Zach.
We wanted to tell you about our new show called The Coscarelli Factor.
You can find it on our Patreon at patreon.com/podcastingafterdark. The Coscarelli Factor covers every single film that Don Coscarelli has directed. And some other little bonus features in there too, like maybe the music videos he directed as well.
That's right. You can find all the episodes under the Auteur de Force tier on our Patreon page. Like Zach said, that's patreon.com/podcastingafterdark. And if you sign up today, you will get access to the complete Carpenter Factor series, where Zach and I went through every single movie that John Carpenter directed, from Dark Star all the way to, well, all the way till the end. So sign up today to our Patreon page and you can unlock all kinds of other things as well, like ad-free episodes and our monthly wrap-up After Dark show.
Patreon helps keep the lights on in the podcasting After Dark world. It gets pretty dark out there at night, and all your support keeps us from getting too scared.
And thank you to everyone who's signed up to our Patreon page. We really appreciate it. And as always,
we'll catch you on the dark side.
And now, back to the show. Once inside, Cory breaks off from the rest of the gang and walks into another room of the house. He asks the empty space if his grandmother is here. The fireplace roars to life. He stares into the fire and asks what the demons are afraid of. The fire dies down and he doesn't get a response. Elaine and the rest of the gang walk into the room looking for Cory. Jack says the house is as secure as it's going to be. He also proposes that instead of waiting for the demons to come, they should attack first. Bonnie mentioned she felt something from the barn. Cory corroborates the theory. Jack's right. My grandmother's diary mentions the barn. Maybe there's a doorway that leads into the barn the same way it leads into this house. Jack continues Cory's theory, and if there's a center of this force, we got to find some way to destroy it. Everyone agrees on the plan. So yeah, we've seen the barn before, but it's as much of a rubble as the house is.
Yeah, it's trash.
Cut to Dell and Terry walking through the woods at night, alone, holding hands. All of a sudden, they are engulfed by the demonic fog and deposited in a different part of the forest. Dell yells out for Terry, but there's no response. Dell turns around and she's standing right behind him with her back to him. Terry asks, "Can't you hear it?" Dell says, "Hear what?" Terry turns around and she's now a demon with sharp claws. She says, "Death." She sinks her 5-inch long nails into Dell's forehead like hot knife through butter. Dell says, with blood pouring down his face, "But I loved you." Then he falls over dead at Demon Terry's feet. It's super cheesy, but I love it for how cheesy it is when Dell says, "But I loved you."
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's... Dell is dead from his forehead. Well, the demon wind comes and it keeps on coming. Back to the barn where the demons are running.
Right.
Didn't make sense not to run from the house. Cory's right and Dell is dumb. So much...
Oh my God.
I fucking hate that song, but Jesus Christ.
I know, I hate that song too, but you fucking nailed it.
When you got a kid, like, that song is on all the time.
Of course it is.
Because they play it at school. Like, oh, you know that song, Rockstar or All-Star? No, yeah, I hate that song.
Oh, I do too, buddy. But that was great. Yeah. That was great.
When Dell the not funky Homo sapien dies, I'm just like, I knew he had it coming. I was kind of hoping to get his head ripped off, though.
Yeah, something a little bit more extreme. But when you think about it, that's pretty gnarly. Like having 5 inches of, 4 nails going straight into your forehead.
I think that's instant death. That's instant kill.
Yeah, I think so too. But he's man enough to get one last sentence out.
But I loved you.
But I loved you.
I'm gonna be in a bunch of Skinemax movies now. My rockin' bod.
My mainstream movie career is over. Time for Skinemax.
Yep. I mean, let's be honest. If he did that now, he probably would have still a mainstream career because it seems like
you can kind of cross platform it.
Jesus Christ.
You know what? He would have an OnlyFans and be an actor.
Yes. Tandy Newton. You know who Tandy Newton is from? She did a hardcore Cinemax show. She was it was really hard. I was like, yikes! I saw a clip accidentally, and I was like, this is not what I expected from Tandy Newton.
No, I love her. She's hot.
Well,
I'm a big fan.
Google that at your own risk.
Pause and. And we're back. Back at the house, Cory and the gang are cautiously making their way to the barn. We see a cool reverse photography shot of the barn door rebuilding itself, then opening on its own as the Scooby Gang approaches. Again, another great effect.
Agreed.
Like with the house, as they pass through the barn doors, they are taken back to before it was burned down. The gang look around the barn and eventually find a human skeleton with a cow skull on it tied to the wall. Rena asks what it is, and Cory says it's an altar to the devil. Elaine says it's horrible, but Rena remarks that there is something beautiful about it as she walks closer to the skeleton. Just then, a giant tongue shoots out from the cow's skull and wraps itself around Rena's neck. She screams as it pulls her closer to its mouth. Jack and Cory try to free Rena from the demonic tongue as her head gets crushed in the cow's skull's mouth. Willie watches in disbelief the whole time. This is my favorite kill because I didn't expect this whatsoever. And I do dig the zombies. I really enjoy the zombies, but I wish we got more weird, off the wall, unexpected shit like this, because it's also gruesome because it doesn't eat her head off, it crushes it.
Yeah, it's is this their favorite scene? Yeah, this is our favorite scene in the movie. It's so good.
Yeah, this is awesome. This is definitely my favorite kill for sure.
It's low budge, but I have no problem with it at all.
No, but it is low budge, but the editing in this is what's great because it'll cut to shots of her feet sort of dangling and blood coming down. It's really well edited.
Less is more.
Yep, sometimes it is.
Right.
As Rena's lifeless body falls to the ground, the rest of the gang run to the barn doors, but their path is blocked by demonic Chuck and demonic Stacy. Stacy says, "It's just us, the gruesome twosome." Chuck holds up a severed hand and says, "Dell looked good enough to eat," then tosses the hand at Willie. Stacy smacks Willie to the ground, then Jack puts a shotgun in his demon friend's face. Stacy says it won't work. This is a house of the damned. Jack pulls the trigger and nothing happens. Stacy pushes aside the gun and smacks Jack down. Chuck begins grappling with Elaine. Cory grabs one of the supernatural.
Supernatural.
I knew that would happen when I wrote that.
Of course you did.
Knives out of his pocket, and Stacy and Chuck back away. Jack, Cory, and Elaine run out.
By the way, Cory just was like something came out of his body. Something came out of my body earlier today, and both Kristen and Bodie were like, "Was that your phone?" I go, "No, it was my nose." It was like, it was weird. It was anyways.
As we get older, our bodies make very weird noises.
Sounds. Yes,
I know.
Demon wind.
Hell, there's a lot of demon wind. Jack, Cory, and Elaine run out of the barn and back to the house. Notice I said Jack, Cory, and Elaine did that.
Yes.
As they're standing in the doorway looking back, they don't see Willie. He must still be in the barn. Just then, Demon Rena hangs upside down from the roof in front of them. She's holding up Willie's severed head, and she says, "Isn't he cute?" In a fit of rage, Cory sinks the dagger into Rena's throat.
Yeah.
She falls to the ground. I love how she falls like a sack of shit.
Yeah.
Just thump.
And Willie the Wimp's in his Cadillac coffin.
Yeah, there you go. Did you notice that Elaine was like, "No, don't use the dagger," but Cory's like, "Rah!"
Yeah,
Yeah.
But he raged.
He did kind of rage. He rage quitted Rena's life. So she falls to the ground like a sack of shit. And then in human form, she turns back into human form. She looks up and says, "You killed me." then Rena and the dagger disappear into a flash of light.
It's really funny, her delivery of the line.
I know. But aside from sort of the goofiness of it, I do like the idea that like she turned back human to say that and then disappear.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's yeah.
Like it's sort of like a final fuck you to them, sort of.
Yeah, I think so. And the deaths are not like consistent in that way. But
yeah,
I don't have a problem with that, but they're all kind of unique.
They are very unique when they actually dispatch a demon with a dagger. They all are sort of unique about it.
Right.
The barn doors open and Chuck and Stacy walk out and head towards the house. What remains of the Scooby Gang secure the front door and prepare to make their final stand. Outside, we see a whole bunch more demon zombies come out of the barn and head towards the house. One of these zombies is actor Lou Diamond Phillips.
La 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 bamba.
So he was married to the second AD who worked on this film. And he was just, I think, visiting her, hanging out. Like, I think he's in between movies. You know, I mean, it's 1990. When was Young Guns?
Well, shit.
Or when was La Bamba?
La Bamba, I think, was like 87, maybe.
So this is post La Bamba.
Yeah, and this is, I think, Young Guns might have been 89 or 90. I'm not looking at IMDb, guys, so don't be like, no, you got it wrong. I mean, those are two movies that he did. I know the first Power, I think, came out in 1990.
Okay.
So he was already a very established, well-known actor.
So he's technically the biggest name in this movie.
Yes.
And he's credited. It's not uncredited. He's in IMDb. He's credited.
Yeah. Yeah. So if we ever get him on one of our respective shows, Podcasting After Dark, a $2 late fee, because I've interviewed a couple guys. You know, he's really good friends with Bill Allen, who plays Crew Jones in Rad, the lead actor in Rad.
Okay, yeah.
He's also really good friends with he was really good friends with Brandon Leigh.
Okay.
And if you want an exclusive, there's a documentary coming out about Brandon Lee's life, like in the 90s.
Okay.
His relationship with them, because they were all they jammed together. They were all
cool.
musicians. Lou Diamond Phillips is actually in a band, and he's going to be playing later on this year. So listen to my interview with Ira Hayden, which comes out in May, from Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors, and he talks a bit about that.
Very cool. That's awesome. I can't wait for that interview, dude.
It was good. Ira's a really cool dude.
So back to Lou Diamond Phillips, like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah, you can't recognize him.
No, you can't. You can't. And when I was watching it, I was trying to figure out who it was and where he was. But I actually do know because Jeff Farley sent me a picture of, which zombie he was. And I'm like, oh my God, I can see it. There's like a close-up shot of him looking through a window. So I'll see if I can post that on Instagram when it comes time to promote this episode.
Yeah, shout out to Jeff. Thanks again, dude.
Yeah, seriously, thanks, man. You freaking rock. And your makeup in this movie is amazing.
And thanks again, Crystal, for this idea for this movie, because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd ever see. I don't know if this would ever have made it to Pad, but I was fucking chomping at the bit to watch it, and I'm so glad that we did.
I mean, so many movies come up on Vinegar Syndrome, and you're like, oh, it's good. And then every now and then, and Leigh Germaini definitely knows what we're talking about. Every now and then you'll buy one, you're like, I could have returned that. You know?
Yeah, this is not one of those, though. As the zombies get close to the house, they are shot by electricity and blown back. Cory's grandma's spell still works. Cory's grandma's spells... Jesus, I wrote that, too. I'm going to have to keep all this in. Cory's grandma's spells still work. More zombies keep throwing themselves at the barrier, and it eventually overloads the spell. The house is now wide open. Like Zak's mom. Jack hands Cory the shotgun and goes to check the back rooms. So of course he's gonna die. As the zombies surround the house, Demon Stacy climbs in through the front window and is put down by a shotgun blast to the gut by Cory. This doesn't stop Stacy though. He gets back up and Cory blasts him back through the window. Next, Chuck tries to make it in, but Cory sends him flying back before he can get through the door. All of a sudden, the zombies stop attacking. Elaine asks where they went, and Cory says maybe they're still afraid of the house. Cut back to Jack looking through the bedroom for anything that might help them. He looks through one of the boarded up windows, and Terry Zombie tries to grab him. Jack uses a hammer to defend himself. Back in the living room, Cory and Elaine are checking the windows when she gets grabbed by 2 zombie demons. Elaine breaks free, and Cory blasts them with his shotgun. Back in the bedroom, Jack is trying to keep the zombies at bay with his hammer. Unfortunately, Demon Terry grabs his hand and bites it. Jack falls to the floor holding his bloody hand, and the demon zombies back away from the windows. All of a sudden, Jack hears Bonnie call out to him from outside. He reaches to her through the window, but she fades back into the fog. As she does, Jack grabs his stomach in pain and slumps over with his back to the dresser. He takes off his glasses and looks at his hand, which is now starting to bubble and rot.
It's good. It's good. Do you know this? The makeup, I know I keep throughout this whole thing bringing up other references. Reminds me a little bit of G versus E.
Yeah.
And the makeup on there.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I only ever saw that one episode that we covered, for TV Obscura, but I know you love that show, and I would actually very much like to watch that show one day. I don't know if it's where it's streaming, though. I've never seen it anywhere.
I mean, I would love it if anyone knows, David, of a way to have all the episodes and quality,
We may have to fly that flag.
Well, there may be
go surfing the high seas. If you catch my drift.
Oh, get a pirated bootleg copy?
Yeah,
oh, wait,
something like
what?
that.
Well, Cory's coming down here for Pasadena Comic-Con in May, and I believe they'll have this. There's a guy there that sells interesting collections. I found the entire Attack of the Killer Tomatoes on DVD there. So
I love me some bootlegs, baby.
Yes, baby.
Back in the living room, Cory tells Elaine to check Stacy's bag for more shotgun ammo, as you mentioned. I mean, he's already blasted through 1,000,000 times more than like what you'd already have, but at least they address it here.
Finally, at the third act of the movie.
Yeah.
But whatever.
He reloads the gun and keeps firing, but there are too many demon zombies. Cory tells Elaine to get the diary and Jack from the bedroom. Elaine looks around the dark bedroom for Jack, but doesn't see him.
Oh, Jack!
Jack, where are you? She runs over and grabs the diary out of the drawer. As she does, Demon Jack slams the bedroom door shut, startling her. He walks over to her and tells her it doesn't hurt. Then Demon Jack starts feeling up Elaine as she's standing there crying. And I'm like, oh, that's sad.
And she tries to get Jack off. What?
Ba-doom.
Ba-doom.
Ba-doom. Beep, beep. I don't even remember the movie that started that.
I think, but I was talking about my friend Tony Banderman, who's like, I stole this car. You like it? I stole it. Beep, beep.
Man, that's right, beep, beep. But then it went from like a zoom away to like a queef sound for some reason. Oh, I'm sure Jeff's already turned this episode off by now.
He's like, these guys are great. I can't wait to be on.
Nope. Not gonna
Canceled.
go on that show.
I'm gonna go on their show and they're gonna talk about themselves.
And queefs.
Yeah.
As Demon Jack raises his hand to kill her, Elaine pulls out the final special dagger and stabs him in the eye with it, which that's really cool. Demon Jack backs away screaming. There's a this is awesome. There's a flash of light, and now normal Jack is standing there screaming in the same pose. Another flash of light, and we see teenage Jack standing there. Then another flash of light, and he turns into Simple Jack from Tropic Thunder. No, I'm just kidding. He turns into like a baby sitting on the floor. Then one final flash of light, and baby Jack turns into a white dove and flies away. Like, I love the fact that, like, I did not see that coming. Like, no part of me thought that that's what was going to happen when she stabbed him in the eye.
It's so damn random. It would have made more sense if the magician turned into a dove and flew away, or Stacy's mom, you know? But like, maybe that's what they intended to do, but maybe they were like, oh crap, we already killed Stacy. Oh man. No one's going to care. We'll just use the gag with Jack. Use the gag with Jack.
We have the dove. It's the dove that Chuck used earlier.
Yeah, exactly. And then they ate it for dinner because they had no budget. Sorry, guys.
They actually might have.
Sorry. Where's craft services? We're having. Oh, is that Cornish game hen?
It looks kind of small.
Yeah, it's Cornish game hen. There's a white feather on it. I don't know where that came from.
I don't know where that came from. Elaine runs out of the bedroom and into the hallway just as Cory is backing up into the hallway from the living room. They shut both doors and seal themselves into the narrow corridor. Elaine tells Cory she had to kill Jack with the last dagger. Cory says it's okay. She did him a favor. As they are hugging, the demons force their way into the hallway and advance on Cory and Elaine, who's holding the diary. Cory says he's sorry, and Elaine says she isn't. It's like, okay. There's no I'm not, I love you. It was just, I'm not sorry.
I know. Wow. It's so flat too. It's really funny. This is also the lady that like showed her butt but like didn't do it sexily. She's just like
very stiff. Yeah.
Yeah. Very stiff.
Yeah, something stiff.
Or not.
As the demon zombies surround Cory and Elaine, we hear a voice from outside the house say, "I have arrived, my children. Gather now. I have come to take you, the faithful, and tonight you will reap your reward." To Cory and Elaine's surprise, the demon zombies turn around and walk out of the house towards their master. The last two living members of the Scooby Gang look out the front window and see Harcourt, the gas station owner, standing in the fog wearing a reverend suit. He holds out his arms to the zombies and says, "Yes, my children, come unto me," which is very different than "come on me." That's a different movie. That's a
Oh, Jack.
The demon zombies gather around Harcourt, and he says tonight they will open the door for their beloved father. Then he tells his flock to come unto him. All the zombie demons disappear into yellow electricity and go into Harcourt. This transforms Harcourt into a bona fide demon. And this is kind of weird, but again, the weird shit is what I like. It also somehow brings Bonnie back to life, and she's now standing in front of Uber Harcourt. I call him Uber Harcourt like you call Uber Jason and Jason X. And I will refer to him as Uber Harcourt moving forward.
And you'll never hear me reference Jason X.
That's a shame. You know what? I'm gonna make that be one of the movies we break down one of these days.
Fine. And watch me like derail it by talking about all these other things and non sequiturs through the whole thing. It reminds me of the one time I was at a funeral.
and my four exes showed up.
So awkward. I really never told that story.
Bonnie looks up and screams. Uber Harcourt sinks his teeth into her neck and starts draining Bonnie's blood and life force. Again, super cool.
And she had a total eclipse of the heart.
Bonnie Taylor.
Oh, baby.
Oh, I love that song, by the way.
Me too.
I really do. So good. Elaine and Cory watch in horror as their friend is turned into a bloody skeleton. But it's cool because there's like multiple transitions where she kind of gets like old and then kind of like sunk in and everything. It's almost like life force. Like he's draining like everything out of her.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. Uber Harcourt says he'll be coming for Cory and Elaine next. Cory tells Elaine that they have to try the spells from the book. He tells her to draw a pentagram on the floor in chalk. She then lights a candle in the middle of the pentagram. Cory joins Elaine in the circle as Uber Harcourt does his big bad monologue thing from outside. A lot of the dialogue with Harcourt, I could not figure out because unfortunately the Vinegar Syndrome's Blu-ray does not have subtitles on it, and they do some mixing with his voice to give it like some kind of like demonic sound, and I kind of feel like they overdid it because I really could only understand about 45% of what he was saying.
I mean, does it really matter? You know where it's going.
Yeah, you get it. That's the thing. You totally fucking get it, you know?
Yeah. And FYI, if you do watch it on YouTube with the really good quality, there is subtitles on that.
That actually would have been helpful in this we're guys and gals, we're in the last like 8 minutes of the movie, but that kind of would have been helpful for me. It's just dialogue wise, I have no fucking clue what he says.
It's fine. It was all like,
I'm the big bad guy.
I'm the big bad guy.
Fuck you. He's Mr. Belvedere. Yeah. Belvedere Harcourt.
Ding dong, I'm here to clean up the place and smack the kids around.
I'm from England.
And Kirk Cameron showed up and he's like, I'm the son of Jesus.
Was Kirk
Show me
Cameron?
that
Did he do
smile.
Did he do a special spot on Mr. Belvedere?
No, but wasn't Mr. Belvedere on ABC?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't a part of TGI Friday?
I think it was before that.
I think so was Growing Pains. Growing Pains was also
Yeah.
They all did.
Yeah. They all popped up in each other's shows and everything.
Yeah.
Especially Boner, right?
Yeah.
That
He's
was
dead.
that was from Star Trek, Koenig's son.
Yeah, Walter Koenig.
Yeah, Walter Koenig's son.
Yeah, committed suicide.
That's fucked. That sucks.
It's
I don't
really
wish that on any
sad.
parent, that's horrible.
Yeah, and I was gonna be like make a joke, but I'm not going to.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Corey and Elaine.
I can't do it. I can't.
Oh no, you're jet lagged.
Jet lag.
Corey and Elaine both read a spell in unison from his grandmother's diary. Elaine looks up and sees the front door blow open and Harcourt walks into the house. As Corey finishes the spell, he takes some white dust and throws it on the candle. The flame shoots up and Corey is consumed by a blinding blue light. When the light fades away, we see that Corey has been upgraded to Uber Corey. I was not seeing this coming.
I was not. So imagine Jeffrey Combs in From Beyond when his head gets, all his hair gets pulled off his head. However, he's got more of a cone-shaped head, not cone, but like a more alien-esque looking head.
It's not just like a bald wig. It's definitely like Alien Nation-esque.
Yes, good one, but a little veiny. So
more veiny, less like the markings that Alien Nation had, on their heads.
Yeah, no markings. It's plain pretty much with these ridges on the side, little H.R. Geiger-esque.
Yeah.
Giger.
Yeah, because his ears are now different and everything. So, but again, I was like, what is this movie? What I love about this movie is that there's always something more insane coming around the corner. But yet it all fits somehow.
Yeah, whatever. Because to me, it's like all bets are off when it comes to magic and,
demons and
whatever. Go anywhere you want. We don't know. None of this shit exists in the first place. So,
yeah.
Well, I mean, it does, but what I'm saying,
yeah,
just go buck wild.
And when this movie goes really zany is when I love it the most.
Me too.
Harcourt says, so the old bitch did possess the great secrets. Harcourt says something else to Corey, but I don't know what he says. I wrote it down in here. The Blu-ray doesn't have subtitles, and I don't know what he says. It must have been bad, though, because Uber Corey kicks Uber Harcourt in the nutsack, doubling him over. The demon master recovers and shoots our deformed hero with an orange force ball, sending him flying backwards. Corey gets to his feet, but Harcourt freezes him in place with another orange force blast. Harcourt says Corey is the last of his line and then places his giant demon hand on Corey's face. The hand glows orange and starts burning Corey. Once Harcourt removes it, Corey falls over. Corey looks up and sees Harcourt standing over him, but then there's a flash of light and Corey is back to normal and surrounded by his friends. They're still in the house, though. They help him to his feet and Corey asks what happened. Stacy says he walked through the front door of the house and then just passed out on the floor. Corey gets excited that his friends are alive. Stacy and Chuck say in unison, just like real life. Just then, Dell starts puking white yogurt. It is white yogurt.
It is white yogurt.
I like how he's like, oops.
Yeah, it's really funny.
And, bro, because I'm breaking this down, because I'm pausing it every time I'm writing something, I look up, and when Dell is puking out yogurt, he has a little bit of yogurt on the top of the bridge of his nose, so you know that he basically put the cup of yogurt into his mouth, but it touched the top of his nose and left a little bit of yogurt there. The actor before, he filmed the scene,
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, but I love how Dell's like, oops.
Again,
cool.
This is why it reminds me a little bit of G versus E, because they're like demons and they talk.
And they talk and there's a little humor to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do the demons in G versus E look like the demons in this? Like when you kind of see what they look like?
A little bit. I mean, yeah, it's reminiscent.
Okay. Corey looks around and all his friends are zombies and demons. Elaine, who still looks normal, yells out for Cory to help her. Cory comes back to reality and sees that Elaine is now a demon. She slowly walks over to him and tells him that she loves him. As Elaine goes for Cory's throat, he places his hand on her forehead and she changes back to human form and passes out on the floor. With another flash of light, Cory is teleported to his father's house. His dad is holding a razor to his wrist and says, "I always loved you, Cory." Cory yells as he watches his dad slit his own wrist. Then his dad walks over to Cory and slashes at him with a razor, but nothing happens.
Yeah, I hate razors. Hate them.
Oh, like those straight razors, the ones you could pull out?
I hate anything. Yeah. I mean, if it was a movie about paper cuts, I'd be like, yeah. You know?
Yeah.
Anything where you slice and you're just
you
like,
get sliced.
And it doesn't bleed at first, and then suddenly it does, and you're just like, oh, God.
Yeah. Oh, God, I hate those, dude.
That
I'm with
feeling.
you, buddy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Uber Cory is back to the present and stands in front of Uber Harcourt. Cory says that Harcourt is terrified of him because he's alive. He can feel. Harcourt is only a shadow that hides behind cheap magic tricks. God changed you into a snake and a chicken shit at the same time. Good burn, by the way.
Good line, good delivery. I think you should refer to him as Chad Cory.
Chad Cory?
Yeah, Uber Chad Cory? I don't know. No, it doesn't work. Just go with Uber. Fine. Don't go call him Lyft, though. Don't call him Lyft Cory.
What is Lyft Cory?
Lyft, Uber.
Oh, okay. LYFT. Yeah. Sorry. Good call. Sorry.
People literally have just been unsubscribed right here.
Unsubscribe, Jesus Christ. I can't unsubscribe fast enough. Harcourt says he doesn't need magic to take Cory's soul. Then he tosses him across the room. Harcourt tells Cory after he kills him, he'll take his woman and make her his bride. Just then, Elaine jams a hot fire poker into Harcourt's back. This gives Cory a chance to get to his feet and attack Harcourt with a flying Superman punch.
I mean, if Roman Reigns can do it in 2025, you know.
Did you watch WrestleMania, by the way?
I did. It sucked.
Okay.
Very disappointing. Side note, The Rock goes on ESPN the next day, and he basically tells everybody the reason why he didn't show up at WrestleMania is because he didn't want to, basically. And he only showed up earlier in the year because ticket sales were down and they needed to boost ticket sales. Gave away a whole thing. Wrestling is in a really weird place right now. It's in a weird... Netflix has a show coming up this summer where it's called The Writer's Room, where they're showing them writing the scripts for the shows.
Interesting.
Like, wow, you're really just giving it all away now. Like,
that's weird.
We just don't care anymore about the illusion.
Yeah.
That this
about
could
the
be,
kayfabe.
Yeah, kayfabe is so dead in 2025, and it's such a shame because people want to have a what if scenario. So, anyways,
I think of The Rock as the perfect example of the phrase, from Dark Knight, you either die a hero or live long enough to become a villain. And it's just so funny that I fucking can't stand The Rock now. And
so many of our
how many years ago I was loving Rock movies, and now I'm just like, oh, fucking hate that guy.
Yeah, I mean, look, he got a role in a Scorsese film, and now he's just like, I don't need WWE now. John Cena's like, I'm going to finish out my career. I love John Cena.
Give me John Cena or Batista any fucking day as actors. You know what I mean? Like, give me those as guys as actors because they're fucking great. Can't wait for Peacemaker season 2.
Dude, and he learned to play piano. That's really him playing piano in that scene.
That's awesome.
Because he learned, anyways.
I love Peacemaker. Season 1 was so good. Fucking so good.
Agreed.
Elaine picks up a book. Oh, sorry. He tells Elaine to get the diary and read the spell. Elaine picks up the book and reads from it as Cory and Harcourt fight. As she finishes the passage, a flame shoots out from the fireplace and engulfs Harcourt. He falls to his knees, screaming, as the spirits he's captured over the years escape from him. Yeah, I mean, we've seen it in Jason Goes to Hell. We've seen it in so many movies where... so how many... Nightmare on Elm Street does Freddy die and the souls fly out of him, as he's dying? Yeah,
I definitely influenced by that.
Yeah. Cory turns back into human form, and he and Elaine run out of the front door just as Harcourt blows up, taking the house with him. As the dust settles outside, Cory and Elaine crawl out of the wreckage of the house. Elaine asks if it's over, and Cory walks up to what's left of the front door and walks through it. Thankfully, he's still in the present. Cut to the next day, and Cory and Elaine are driving down the dirt road and stop at Harcourt's gas station. Elaine walks into the cafe and calls out for the waitress. She comes out of the back room and says she has a surprise for them. We see the waitress is a demon. Elaine says she has a surprise for her too. Cory walks in holding the diary out. A beam of light shoots out from the book and disintegrates the demon waitress. Cory and Elaine get back into their truck and drive away. As they do, we see the same redheaded girl from earlier in the movie, but now she's a demon too. Orange light shoots out from her face at the movie screen, and the credits roll. Real quick, I love it. I think we've seen it before, but I love it at the end of this, where like the heroes now have the tools, and I like it when you see them go to confront, like, I swear to God, we've seen this in something else, but you go to confront, you know, maybe a threat from earlier in the movie, but now they're so OP'd that it doesn't even matter anymore. Yeah. I love that shit. It's a satisfying ending. The only thing I wish, and it's only because I fucking loved all the characters, I just wish that the magic brought his friends back at the end. I think in other movies, I would think that would be cheesy, but in this movie, I really wish that happened because I really loved the Scooby Gang.
Yeah, you know, when he has the scene you did where like he wakes up from his dream and they're all there, and right, like I was kind of hoping, I'm like, is this gonna be a April Fool's Day scenario? You know, is this gonna be a possibility?
Yeah, like a dream sequence or something like that. You know?
Yeah, but I'm okay with it. Again, because this film, I've never seen a movie that looks like an Italian horror film that's not an Italian horror film. Yeah, shot in Thousand Oaks. That's really cool. Like, it felt very dreamlike in more fantasy than horror, like a horror fantasy. I loved it. As much as there were moments where I'm like, nah, that didn't work, or that was cheesy. 95% of the movie's cheesy. It's so much fun though. It's a fun film that I'd never heard of. I mean, maybe I did, but like, it blows my mind. And now I am a Demon Wind fan, just like I am a Michael Bolton fan as well.
It makes me wonder, Zach, like maybe did Fangoria not cover this back in the day? And I
don't know, but Fangoria was really cheesing out at one point. Like, I remember, I think I stopped getting invested in Fangoria. Well, no, I was still going to Fango conventions in the 90s, but like,
I mean, this is 1990. Like I think I still had a subscription to Fangoria at this
me
point.
too.
Like it wasn't until like mid 90s that I probably stopped reading it. But I don't remember Fangoria covering this.
I don't think so either.
Which just kind of goes to show the power that Fangoria had, because so many movies you and I talk about were like, oh my God, I remember, you know, Fangoria covering that, and or that's how I discovered that movie. Like Screamers, you know, we just interviewed Charles Edwin Powell, who was in Screamers. Like, that was a Fangoria issue. That's the only reason I knew about that fucking movie, you know, and just Split Second, Zach, was another Fangoria coverage.
Sorry. So no, yeah, I maybe Gorezone would have covered this.
Oh yeah, like Gorezone, that was like the lower budget one, right?
Yeah, I remember like Transmutations. I was on the cover of that.
I remember
the guy was all
movie.
bulbous face,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And I think that was supposed to come out on Blu-ray at some point. It never did. And where the hell's the Relic? But yeah,
wait,
like,
where the fuck is the Relic? I thought Kino announced that Blu-ray. I bet you now they're just holding out for the 4K, you know?
I guess so.
Yeah, Zach and I have been wanting to cover the Relic since this show started.
So many movies that I wish would get a proper treatment that aren't, but Demon Wind did.
Yeah. And God bless it.
God bless it. I will say, Crystal, you know, you have this consistent record so far.
Crystal has a movie type. She
but
definitely has a movie type.
I'm hoping the next one you pick is going to be, you've set the bar pretty high with Demon Wind. I hope the next one is right up there as well. I'm sure it will be. I'm sure it's going to be like LWLWW. I love you, Crystal.
God
You
bless
know
you.
that.
I
And
know.
God damn it, come on the show sometime. How about
Yes,
that?
please do. Please do, Crystal. We'd love to have you. Come on a
we'll
wrap
do-
up. Come on a
have
wrap up.
you
after
on
dark.
wrap up with Cory, me, and Leigh, and it'll be a 6-hour show because
We'll talk
between
about
Cory
vinyl.
and Leigh, woo, baby.
Oh man, yeah, dude. I second everything you said about it. I love this movie. I'm so happy to have it. I'm so happy to. It's going to be high in the rotation. It's a movie that I would show specific people that I think would appreciate this. I know that there's some people that I wouldn't show it. They wouldn't appreciate this. You gotta love your schlocky horror films to really love and appreciate a movie like this, because this movie has a lot to offer. It's infinitely better than it has any fucking right to be. I mean that budget-wise,
I'd put it, yeah.
And it's everyone in front of the camera, everyone behind the camera. Everyone did their fucking job, and this movie fucking rocks. And by the way, judging by like the Instagram post, people love this movie. Everyone's like, "Oh, this is like a, just one of those movies that I go to and just like really enjoy and just kind of pop in and zone out to." Seriously, guys and gals, fucking smoke a fat joint, pop a beer, enjoy this fucking movie. Just have fun with it. Just have fun.
I'm telling you now, based on this and your love of this, we're going to break down New York Ninja later this year. I'm going to pull the trigger and make you watch that movie because I don't think you've watched it yet.
I haven't had a chance to, but you know how it goes, my man. If it's
But
not something for the show.
You're going to watch it, and it's in the same realm.
Oh,
I would
love
put I would put Demon Wind with New York Ninja and Psycho Gorman as like movies that you just
love it.
Psycho Gorman has become kind of like a consistent birthday movie for me. Like that I force everyone to watch that, and they're like, "What are we watching? Oh my god!" Anyways,
yeah,
maybe Demon Wind's going to take over.
And if anyone wants to, throw these kind of movies at us on Patreon, like Zach said, swing on over to patreon.com/podcastafterdark, sign up for the highest tier, and you can become a producer on the show and suggest movies for us to review. The only stipulation, like we don't even have like a stipulation as like themes. The only stipulation is that like we got to find it, because we've had people suggest movies that we literally could not find anywhere. So if you do that, have a backup just in case.
Yeah.
Rob, is it time for us to do Cemetery Man next? Just wondering, because I am this movie kind of, Zach keeps bringing it up, but yeah, this movie kind of made me get in a Cemetery Man mood.
Yeah, and I will add one more little caveat onto the selection process, because we've had some great suggestions from our top tier listeners, like Paulette, for example. If the movie is like only available streaming, that's kind of hard to do because not Cory and I don't always have the same streaming platforms.
Services. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, or if it's only available on DVD, that's really hard to come by, and the quality's usually not that great. Or it's available on eBay somewhere, like. We try to avoid that. So make sure it's, something that's readily available, easily accessible. If it's on YouTube, sometimes that's okay, but we'd like to have a physical copy of it because we buy the physical copy and then promote the company that put it out.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, go pick up this Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray of this. They did a great job with it. Packed with as much extras as you can possibly find. Even there's like a half-hour interview with like the producer of the film and everything.
Cool.
And so it was interesting because he was talking about like, he was making this movie and a couple other movies at the time, and he kind of didn't focus too much on this, but he's like, he watched it years later and he was like, no, this was the best of the bunch that like I produced, and I kind of wish I had sort of focused on it a little bit more.
I think it's nice that this movie was not forgotten. So
sincerely,
Crystal, thanks for choosing this one because it was a lot of fun. It really was enjoyable to watch post or currently in jet lag mode and kind of bonkers out of my mind.
I love jet lag Zach. It's great.
Yeah, jet lag Zach is back, baby.
That's right, baby. Zach, anything you want to kind of tease us for the end of this month on $2 late fee, or maybe even next month on $2 late fee?
So this is dropping at the end of April.
At the end of April-ish, yeah.
Yeah, so over on the Territory Mark side, famous wrestling broadcaster that I interviewed last year named Bill Mercer died at the age of 99 earlier this year.
Hell of a run.
And he's got a hell of a story. I'm doing some really cool tributes to him on our Patreon and then on the Territory Marks free feed. And that's going to roll into May as well. I've got something really fun plan for that. And then, like I mentioned earlier in the episode, Ira Hayden is going to be the guest in May. He's from Nightmare 3, the Dream Warriors, and we are going to Grace joined me to discuss Dream Warriors on the show for a very fun episode. So yeah, that's May. And then we've got, of course, 80s Kids Unite coming up. That's a Patreon suggested show. So if you are a Patreon member, you can suggest a topic that we'll cover. We just covered mall memories, of which Dustin shared some of his mall memories on the Tales from the Video Store episode that we just recorded for the month of April, our tribute to Richard Norton as well. It's like a twofer. We do this tribute to Richard Norton as well as kind of get his thoughts on mall memories, like we did with Cory on the Wrap Up After Dark episode for the month of April as well. So bada bing, bada boom, tinka tanka tinga, bingo bango, tinga tango.
Zach, this was a blast. Crystal, thank you so much. Demon Wind was worth the wait. And as always,
we'll catch you on the side. Be sure to subscribe to Podcasting After Dark and give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. Support Podcasting After Dark on Patreon. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Podcasting After Dark. And visit us next time for another installment of Podcasting After Dark with Cory Stevenson and Zach Schaefer.
Have you been wondering where's the beef? Well, on our podcast, Throwback Trivia Takedown, you might just find that out, as well as some other things about the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
We're a nostalgic-based trivia show that pits two challengers head-to-head in a duel of the decades, with categories ranging from movies, TV, and music, to slang, food, and fashion. You're sure to get the best in retro-themed trivia.
So strap on your jelly shoes, grab a Surge, and walk like an Egyptian to your favorite podcast app and check out Throwback Trivia Takedown.
I heard even Mikey likes it.